You don't see like the body. You see like a big old like hit on your screen. You're like, oh, there's a coffin. There's a body. There's something in there.
I don't like that.
Pretty sure
Dead down there.
Yeah, there's something dead down there.
It's spooky, but I also still wanna. We should play in the
graveyard?
cemetery. Yeah.
There's a Wolf Moon this Friday.
That would be so good.
Chaos Music isn't playing anything.
Dude, wait, we need to go to Australia and then go back
It's
to the
so
elemental world.
appropriate. I'm a
Of fire.
Hexblade warlock
Not playing anything.
who made a pact with the fucking like creator of the Nether realm. I don't remember what realm.
In
it is.
Nether?
Do you mean in real life, not play in a cemetery?
Yeah.
Not lay in a or play
play.
in a cemetery. Yeah.
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 Why?
For the
I'm kind of with you on
spooks.
that one.
Yeah.
That's what Adrian said. He's just like, no.
I don't know, man. I've had to look at dead people for a whole semester. I don't know.
Yeah, but they're
You
in
guys
the
are
box.
already around dead people.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
They're in the box this
Oh my
time.
god. This
I
mine?
get
It's not
scared
serious.
easily.
That's mine.
Just over there, man.
It's okay, dude.
In my character.
Just bring your holy water.
Thanks.
Yeah, dude, exactly. We'll get some like silver and some salt
Yeah.
and some garlic and onions.
We can literally go to a church right before and like take water from the water fountain and it's holy water.
Because that's not sacrilegious at all. Here, let me just steal a sacred item from your
Borrowing it.
church real quick. I'm going to a
Bring it back.
cemetery.
That's where the water fountain is. It's on church grounds. It's holy water.
It's
Dude,
still
and-
stealing.
We only like take it
Alternative?
if we don't use it. We'll put it back. Don't worry. This is chipped. Oh shit.
I might have to reposition some people because the people who sit over here have to be slightly louder than the people over there.
I'll be sitting there.
Oh.
I'm a loud person. So
I'm pretty
you can
loud,
put me
too.
wherever.
Is this as far as it's,
I just cranked the volume up on this, so let me check this real quick.
Okay.
so
Okay.
is this as far as it's extended?
Yeah,
It's like a
talking about.
cone, like, so it's like.
Yeah, it goes
Gotcha.
out like
That's
so.
the
and
furthest
out
it can
like-
go.
Oh yeah.
I fucking need to finish.
It just needs I think we need another attachment to make it longer on top. Okay.
Oh,
Check. 1, 2.
What should we talk about?
Let's talk about
So-
Kalen.
Australia is literally the
Let's
elemental
talk about
rift
where
of fire
Gray
right
is
now.
actually. 7-11 already.
7-Eleven.
Oh, come on.
So,
Traffic, literally.
come on, Gray.
A wild ZZ
Just so I'm
appeared.
Come on. A wild ZZ. I got him. I gotta get ZZ.
Where?
Is that him?
You must capture him.
Wait. Oh, is that Zach's brother?
Yeah.
What's up?
Friend of us.
What?
Huh?
Did I hear my name? Did I hear my name?
Yes.
I'm supposed to say something.
Yeah.
I am.
She's soft spoken, Kalen.
Alright, so that means you have to sit
So yeah,
here.
you guys may have to switch seats.
That'll
Yeah.
be good.
Can you not talk any louder?
I feel like Gray's pretty quiet too, isn't he?
At times.
Gray can go in the middle.
He can, yeah.
Okay.
And you can just go right here and
I'll
like.
go in the end.
Yeah.
Get the loud mouths on the end there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loud as fuck, so. Try now.
Alright.
Are you playing like a super like hulked out character?
I
It'll
don't.
be fantastic.
No.
Super
Wait,
hulked out
a
characters like
druid.
super soft spoken.
She's playing like basically a Dream Touch Druid.
Yeah.
Dream touch.
It's
The
so
Kalidar, the
cool.
Kalistar from Ebron.
Oh
So you know
yeah.
how
yeah.
when you transform into your beast form, you can't normally like talk to anybody?
Yeah.
Fucking Dream Touch, you're telepathic and talk to whoever the fuck you want.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
It's
Busted.
like boom.
So you can literally like be,
Why is that cat talking to me?
be a
Why is
bird.
that cat talking to me?
Are you high? You just don't realize it? Oh man, all the people you can mess with right now is amazing. Just-
Okay, a few sentences, please.
Talk about your character.
Their name is Leaf.
Leaf.
Dope. Sorry.
Yeah, describe.
Describe.
Oh, me? Yeah. Okay.
She's eating.
Oh, no.
What kind of leaf? I'm just kidding. What spells do you have?
I have the guidance, resistance, Shilila. How do you say that?
Shalala?
Shalala?
Yeah.
Oof.
Entangle, Goodberry, Thunderwave, Detect Poison and Disease. And I spelled disease wrong.
Zach's brother needs to add me. What the fuck?
Ah!
Why are they so ridiculous?
Okay. You are picking up. Fucking quiet ass.
I need someone to turn. I need someone to turn the speakers down, maybe like just a teeny tiny bit, not a lot, because I can't.
How's that? Thoughts?
Oh, I can't tell you yet.
Okay. My real ears are in the other room.
Let me go put them on real quick. Now you just come out with like pointed ears
Oh
on.
my god.
I
I
told
literally.
you fucking big ass ears.
I
I've tried to
was
super
guessing
glue my
Here.
mini.
Huh?
Talk
I
to
was
Zach.
guessing
Sure,
your
what?
name.
Is he on the phone?
Hey Zach, I'm
and,
gonna put you on the
I
phone
got
with Adrian. I'm doing
super
sound testing
glue
right
all
now,
over
but
my
Adrian wants you
fingers.
guys to get Discord set up.
And the fucking mini didn't stick because
Okay.
it's made of metal.
Alright.
So it was all
So
for
your brother has
nothing.
to add me on Discord. First of all, that's the first thing.
Oh, we're streaming right now?
Yeah, we're already streaming.
Yo, what up, bruh?
Yeah, he needs to add me so I'm able to add him to the group in order to have the call go through.
Here it is.
That's adorable.
Yeah. If you look at his boots, he kind of has like
Little
the
spikes.
little spikes, which are supposed to be his like fins.
I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would look really good in like teal and blue.
Like, definitely like his skin kind of like an aquamarine.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's
Hair
Zen
kind of a
Boy.
brownish, and then
Me?
it's like his
Oh,
armor.
you kind of has a good face.
Zen Boy 1040.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
Huh?
so hard
Yeah.
to paint these. I've painted like 3
Yes,
or
sir.
4, and like 3 or 4 of them were rats. And
Zenboy.
one of them was his little,
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you painted that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
oh,
look
that's
at it
cool.
up close
I'm
if you
sorry, you
want. It did
rolled
not
You
hit.
should
Don't-
have a friend
18.
request for
That
me.
does not hit.
That does not hit. Jail.
19 still doesn't hit.
22.
Can you move your face a little closer to the mic?
You rolled
Yeah.
a 22.
Close.
Pop
You
filter.
did not hit. Try again.
Bullshit.
Character, an anime character.
Yeah, there's a show.
27?
called,
Yeah, that hits.
Dungeon Painter Guild.
It's hard to do it with a 15-second delay.
Where they show you how to
Oh,
paint
yeah,
these, and
that's
it's just
true.
like I watched one show and I was like, nope. Even if I watch this, I still can't do this. Nope, can't do it.
Amazing.
And on this very day,
That should be good.
mine Vina.
Let me add you up.
Mine Vina. 15 places.
It actually sounds pretty good if anyone wants to check it out.
Alright.
It sounds pretty good.
He is
Adrian
added.
will
I'm gonna
I'll
start
just watch it tomorrow morning.
91%.
So go
I
ahead and
approve.
Are we recording the stream?
First aid
Yeah, it's
antiseptic.
recording.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
Oh, look at that. Boom.
Wow. Say hello to the television.
Alright, so I'm gonna close.
Oh, this Discord?
Oh, you need to.
Okay, we
you need
should
to
be
be able
good.
to see my camera. Becca's camera is not going.
Oh, there he is.
Wow.
There he is.
This is great.
Alright.
Awesome.
Go over to get a video.
Oh boy.
It's working.
Cancel this camera.
It's working.
He didn't need to see me. Just like.
Yeah, he can have the stream on another time.
Dude, I'm buying a fucking bowl.
Okay, he's got a webcam going up.
Whenever Oppo's like pissed at Dimitri, he's just gonna like
Okay,
slap him
so
like that.
we
Just like,
still need to have their audio output.
you're gonna do that right now?
This is awesome, dude.
Yeah, some Bluetooth speakers right here.
Okay, you should have it.
So that needs to get plugged into my
Really good
computer.
bars through that door?
Wait, so that
Yeah.
one is the stream.
And then, yeah, your brother has the webcam.
That's the one where we're controlling. Yeah, basically the stream through.
And then
All the
other
different cameras,
one's
etc.
just on Discord.
This
Oh,
is
you're
just on
good.
Discord.
Oh, that's fine.
I guess I should move.
Yeah. You could also
Here.
Yeah.
My poor friend.
Hey Zach, can you say a few words?
Can you hear Caitlin?
Oh, there you go.
Oh shit.
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear
Should I
you.
turn this up? I mean,
We can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Sick.
Hell yeah.
Dude, this is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna hang up the
I'm
call
like
then.
mind blown a little bit.
Oh, so were you getting echo on there?
No, I wasn't actually.
Oh, wow.
That was
Okay,
clean.
cool.
Hey Zach.
So now I
What's
have
up,
to
dude?
Go ahead and alter this. Hey.
This is so
I can't believe it actually all fucking works.
Yeah, dude, wow.
Give it like 2 sessions. Something will break at that point.
Don't fucking say anything like
Look at that
that.
table is wood, dude.
I rolled an 8, I'm sorry.
Well, if you were worried about losing our character before, the character's definitely fucking dead.
Done.
You're digging your
Definitely
own grave.
dead
I
now.
was just gonna follow the sword at the beginning of the game. Just be like, done.
Okay, let me do a quick audio check to see
Something
Zach's levels compared to our
Comes
levels.
soaring out through the sky and pierces up his chest.
Tell Zach
He's
to talk.
obliterated.
It's a giant pointed middle finger. Just
Tell Zach to talk. I
There's
got
a
you.
criminal at our door.
Zach, I need to tell me your life
Oh,
story.
Welcome.
We're almost all set.
Really?
Oh, shit.
Really?
So you're gonna sit
Yes.
in the
Is
middle.
it a match tonight?
No way.
Oh wow.
That's
Oh
awesome.
gosh.
Fucking
plans,
dude.
We have a mental telepathic link.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's up, dude?
Not much.
Thoughts on having this on stream?
Oh, there are kids who are gonna watch this.
Oh no.
We can't.
It can't be.
It's TOS. You can't have.
Until we get sponsored by Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
That'd be
Jameson,
horrible.
oh my gosh.
Dude, I would get a
Twitch
GD
TOS
in
changed.
chat if we got sponsored.
Yeah.
There should be a mug in that cabinet next to the
I
fridge.
think I'd be disowned by
Ooh.
everybody
I was
now.
gonna say your dad would kill you.
Yeah. He'll actually like cut off my nose.
Hey, what are the other things
Yeah,
there?
try that.
This one.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
there's mugs over there.
Well, that one's like the camera for that computer,
Oh,
I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Not really
and then
sure.
Let me hit the light for you so you can get food.
Top right.
This one's gonna be
over
Zach's
here.
brother
Yeah.
eventually.
Gotcha.
Is he wearing a helmet?
No, he got his headset on.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just got
Oh,
the
he's
little-
turned around.
Yeah. He's gonna
Does
be.
look like he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, right?
Oh my god, that's
Cheers.
funny.
And we got tzatziki sauce and zucchini sauce. So enjoy.
Yeah. Adrian,
Yes.
I don't know if this is gonna be too much, but do you want to move this mic this way a little bit so it's not in the camera shot, or do you care?
Oh,
No, because that's just feeding directly to.
That's
Zach.
not on stream or anything.
Yeah, it's
Alright,
not.
okay. No, we don't care.
Huh?
The microphone has to be centered, don't move it.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, big ears.
No worries.
Oh, it's gonna be his next year's Christmas gift. It's gonna be a plaque that just says Mr. Big Ears, Dungeon DM Big Ears, and just
Audio mastermind. An engraved
The fucking street.
plaque of his face with big ears.
Got him,
Dude,
dude.
we can pay like $100 to get it really nicely done. It's just his normal face
Man.
with giant
it's
fucking.
gonna be a great present for you, Kaylin.
You're all fucking dead.
TPK, roll new characters.
The world factory resets. You are level 1.
Okay, Zach, your brother is muted, so he needs to unmute and get that cam on, and then we'll be good to go. Let me pull the Twitch chat up on
I
this.
don't think you heard any of that.
I'm gonna be heard that.
Say it one more time.
Zach, can you get your brother's
Tell Zach he needs to talk. I haven't heard him speak yet.
Yeah, you need to talk. Kayla needs you to talk.
Come in, sound check.
You hear him, Kayla?
Ooh, what if we did this?
Because it doesn't capture this way actually.
Talking words. I
Here?
can hear myself.
Oh shit.
We can't put that there. That has to be away from
Well,
the.
can you hear him over here?
Maybe like right here.
He's
'Cause,
not
like,
hearing us.
doesn't
He's
the
not
mic-
hearing. He's not hearing Zach.
It goes in a cone this way.
Are people actually using character sheets?
Yeah, man.
Oh gosh.
I heard none of that,
Kaylin,
Kaylin.
you have to come over here.
Okay. Is there a way that we can grab Zach's audio coming from Discord into the OBS rather than having it come through the speakers?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Oh.
I haven't gotten to that point yet because I need him and his brother to talk.
Oh.
I'm getting there. I'm just.
I feel a bit silly.
Hello. See, okay, Kaylin, this is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Doesn't
tell
the
him
mic
to talk.
not capture like this direction?
Shouldn't.
See, so that's why like are you not
We almost
hearing
need him like
here?
over here.
Well, no, because what we're gonna do is because his audio is coming through Discord to this
So
computer.
you're broadcasting it separately?
Because this computer is in the same.
Zach, can you just give a monologue?
Sure.
It's
Right
quite a
now?
lot happening.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert.
Well, he needs to. I don't know where to route it to. Is it through the
It's coming from. It's
This is amazing.
You're at all. You're in a call, right? Wait, you're in a call.
Yeah, I'm in a call. Oh, I just got something.
Well, those passions read.
Oh, he's reading this. He's not making this on the fly. I was like, damn, that's my favorite present.
Okay, now he's coming through. Now we're picking him up on Discord. On OBS.
Okay, and then he
So go listen to that.
King of kings. Look at my works, ye mighty in despair. You want me to keep monologuing?
Yep, keep going.
That's great, man. Keep going. I'm enjoying this.
Nothing beside remains. Ground and decay, that lost and down to there, the lone and level sands stretch far away. Some more monologues for you.
Do it. I think Kaylin's good.
His level needs to be way higher on this.
Okay, raise it up right there.
It needs to be quieter there because I'm hearing an echo.
Audio input device.
This one right here.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I can hear the echo a little
Wait,
bit.
this right here.
Yeah, audio input.
I can put capture.
Yep, it's at 30. Bring it up to whatever you think it needs to be up to.
So yeah.
Do I just move that slider?
Yep, keep going with the slider. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Do another monologue, Zach.
Okay.
Is that what Zach's seeing right there with the camera?
Zach is
Yeah,
seeing
Zach's
this
seeing
right
this
here.
right here.
Oh, hey Zach.
So he's just gonna like talk to my hand
Just
today.
watch me eat.
This is scared today. This is all.
Yeah, I need to go make dinner in a second. Just make a plate of it.
Okay, Zach,
Am I
talk.
still quiet?
You need to talk.
Okay. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, black fish, blue fish, old fish, new fish. This one has a little car. This one has a little star. Say, what a lot of fish there are.
Almost there, Zach.
It sounds really good.
Already.
I need them up a little bit higher.
Here's a Twitch chat we have right here on the screen now.
Okay.
Well, it was.
Oh, where'd it go?
There's a tiny bit of an echo when he talks, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't. There's no way to get around it completely.
Unless we slide this back over here, further away. Put it like right here in front of the Twitch chat ish.
Okay, that's not gonna bounce off or anything.
No.
Yeah, put it like right there. That works.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
The lid's not all the way on.
No, let's move that one over here.
What are you saying, Caleb?
Oh yeah.
We're totally not gonna encounter a supreme health potion.
Because the microphone
No, probably not.
I think he's had.
I can mute it.
Had offered.
Well, no, because then he'll be able to hear.
Stay here to taunt us.
Oh, he's in Discord.
Yeah, isn't this
How
cool?
much even is that shit?
Yeah, I have to mute this.
lot of
over here.
gold.
Yeah, mute that
Like
one.
gold wise.
Oh, this is like.
Okay, now if you can mute it.
1,000 probably.
No, probably not
What?
1,000. Probably closer to like 50 or 100.
Gold.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't potions
This
like thousands?
regular is a common is 50 gold.
Jesus.
So
Yeah,
this
they're
is like
really
15,000
expensive.
gold kind of.
Only the rich can afford.
Thank you
to not
everybody
die.
for your
It's just
patience.
like
This is
America.
our first official broadcast, so we're kind of getting all the technology kinks and stuff out of it, but we should be up and running here in the next 5 minutes or so, and then we'll be jumping into the next story.
Oh shit.
But
I'm so excited.
yeah, just give us like 5 more minutes, and then we will be good to go. Thank you.
I can't believe you drink out of that thing, Nick.
I know. It's a big water. It
It's
was
a
a
fucking
vase.
vase.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
vase.
it's literally
Jesus,
a
I was
vase.
like,
I mean,
it's
I
a
guess
very
if you
big
clean it,
glass.
like whatever, but it's like fucking
I
massive.
feel like you need to like drink it with like 2 hands.
Yeah.
Just like.
Exactly.
It's
If
okay.
I tried to drink out of something that wide, I would like spill it all over my face.
I'll say you-
Purse your lips a little.
You,
I can't do that
If you've
shit.
been
You
to
funnel it
It makes me feel like Donald Duck. I don't like it.
I'll say if you've been to Dunderbox over in
I haven't been anywhere. Dude.
Dunderbox over in like West Chase area,
Nah.
they literally have a booth. It's like 2 liters
Or beer.
of beer.
Okay,
I
so
hate
everything
beer.
sound good?
You can probably get 2 liters of something else in there.
Okay.
Maybe.
It's true. 2 liters of
I see
wine.
Julian logging in right now.
2 liters of any kind of alcohol is just a bad idea.
The nice thing about this is you fill it up all the way with whatever booze mixed drink you want, and you just need one.
That's it.
Yes.
1 or 2.
But then it gets
one and
warm.
done.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, room temperature. Yum.
Yeah, either that or really watered down.
Mhm.
Or you drink it really quickly.
That's a bad idea.
Also, yes.
Sure.
I've been trying to write this for like 20 minutes, and the only word I've written is hexblade.
Wow.
Oh, this is my mom. Aww. My mom always sends me pictures of the food she makes.
I'm gonna.
It's like, you take a picture of your food?
Yeah, true.
You should do that.
I made this.
Get on in here.
Because Zach really needs to get his camera on.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Fuck, aren't they supposed to know shit about technology?
Okay, well, we're just getting one more person logged in on Discord and visual, so we can see them on stream, and then we will be we'll be ready to go. In the meantime, I guess while we're waiting, does anyone want to give like a brief kind of like in eight
Character intros?
sentences or less, just give a brief intro of like the journey that the group has been on so far?
That's a lot of pressure. That's a
8
whole lot of
sentences?
journey.
Okay, maybe
Wait,
not 8
also, if
sentences,
anything,
but-
it should be you.
Okay,
You're
so can someone pass me that map then so I can remember?
I'm your DM Kales, and I'm going to tell you a story.
I am your Dungeon Master Kales here. Welcome to the first episode of Roll with Advantage. And for all of you who are just joining up the stream, this group has been playing together for about a year. We've been on Roll20 up until this point, but we decided that we wanted to go forward and make a full studio for everyone's enjoyment and for ours because it is more fun playing D&D around a table. But I'm going to give a brief synopsis of kind of what the group has gone through to get to this point because it's going to be a little confusing off the bat. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and jump in. So, Adrian, is there a way to put any pictures on stream on OBS? So I can show the map?
Likely.
Well, I'll hold it up for now until we figure that out.
You can add a scene.
Yeah, well, Adrian's going to come back and do that in a second, but I'm going to start telling the story. So here's the general map. All you really need to know about this map is that there are 2 continents, and these continents didn't used to be in the same plane of existence as before. Coming from the last campaign, there was an episode called The Convergence, where 2 similar universes joined into one. And this is kind of the beginning of the age of exploration between the 2 continents, discovering that other worlds exist other than themselves. So this group around the table, the original group, sailed over from the continent over here,
A little higher. There you go.
all the way down to the southernmost coast, wrecking their ship along the coastline after discovering that a large band of pirates has followed them over to this new world. A band of pirates called the Depth Crawlers.
If you're done with it, send it to me.
I'm trying to think of a really kind of short and easy way to say everything, but essentially, Depth Crawlers bad. They discovered a town called Zashi that was under attack from a bunch of Death Crawlers. They were able to take over the ship that was plaguing the town. Unfortunately, Gray over here, losing his first character in the process, but and also an NPC named Drips, who was a youthful Tabaxi who really wanted to be an adventurer and unfortunately lost his life during the process. The group has simply named their ship the Drips ship, and they have a logo of him as their actual mast and banner.
Oh yeah, name it after the NPC.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
We're also not creative, naming wise.
You know how long it took them to come up with a name for their ship, Gray?
5 minutes.
No, it was like a month and a half, okay? So that was what they settled
We
with.
haven't come up with a name of the group yet.
They don't even have a name for the group.
Yeah. We're
So-
not good at naming things.
That's your job.
They say the town
Oh, I'll
of
do it,
Zashi.
but you might not
From
like it.
there, the group travels northward to the next coastal town to the north called Port Giustino. And this is their first instances of like a slightly larger town. There's a big ship commerce and trade in this area. There's also a large swath of jungle called the Ivory Jungle that kind of continues inland from there. The party, looking to kind of gain some money and some influence in the area, took on a couple of quests from the tavern, one of which was given by a man named Rutherford Billington. Him and his counterpart Elijah Townsend set forth into the jungle in search of an ancient tomb called the Tomb of Chazan Kab. The party was attacked and ambushed, and they were lost within the tomb. Rutherford has hired the adventurers to go and search for it. After a search and return, after a case of mummy rot from our barbarian Dimitri, the party eventually gets to the base of the tomb, only to find that the remains of Chazan Kab have signed a pact with one of the 9 hells, a being that recognized one of our characters, and so bad. The party was able to seal the portal off, but kill Chazan Kab in the process. So essentially killing him, sends him back to his native plane, so now they have an enemy in hell somewhere. From there, they left and headed north to the large economic mecca of the area, which is a town called Marda. And this is where they gain more influence through the Merchants Grotto Guild, aiding them in a couple of quests. They also met up with one of the archmages of the Arcanon Collective, a silver dragonborn by the name of Mira Nerazine, who is Aki's mentor. Aki being the celestial tiefling played by Adrian, who is currently not here at the table. What happened after that? You guys saved. After
we met
Mira,
Mark.
Oppo became a
Paladin.
of the Moonweaver. So multi-class
Crappy
there.
Paladin.
Working on that. Work in progress.
Tell her like
Oh,
it
you'll
is,
like
yeah.
my new character.
After the Moonweaver, you
I
guys
was
sailed.
excited.
Oh, Mira tells them of a terrible instance that's happening in the Ivory Jungle. After the convergence, many issues started appearing up. Not only was there this new land that appeared, but also rifts to other elemental planes have begun to open. The party, helping the Arcanon Collective, kind of research these elemental rifts and stealing them when they can. Discover that there is a large fire elemental that's opened in the Ivory Jungle and is burning it to the ground, which was somewhat of a period piece for the Amazon forest a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's Australia now.
well, it's also Australia, so a lot of fire.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
What else? They have moved northward after saving the town of Port Justina from the fire. So with two towns saved under their belt, they begin to gain some recognition from the crown. Now, the Southern Cantual territory was originally a band of different nomadic tribes that were joined together during the last war about 150 years ago under a unified banner, the Southern Cantual territory. And the princess of the crown, Torina Ral Hazir, heard of these adventurers saving her towns on the coastline. She paid them a visit and thanked them for their service, upgrading their ship in the process with more armor, but at the same time also asked them to swear fealty to the crown, as she thought that they were invaluable adventurers under her banner. However, the party did not agree to swear fealty. They played it careful, and they decided that they wanted to work alongside the crown, but not swear fealty under a banner.
Following the lead.
Princess Torina was a little disappointed during this, but has told them she accepts and that they hope that they will continue to work in the future. However, because they do not immediately swear fealty, that the problems that came over from the previous land are also still their problems. So the pirates that have been plaguing this entire coastline are still their problems. So she says, until they can get rid of the pirates, this is the debt that they are owed. Now, at the time, their current leader and Captain Tave had left a crew back to the far east. And the group decides that it's the best case scenario is to bolster their numbers and create a fleet in order to take out the pirates that way. They agree that they should set sail northeastward for 6 weeks in order to find the ships that would aid them in getting rid of the pirates, the depth crawlers, for once and for all. Torina, being very hesitant at this, said that any damages that were caused by the pirates in their absence after her expectations were made clear was also on them. The party travels northward, encounters a rock and an assassin from a sinister organization known as Magnus Charybdis. The Magnus Charybdis appears to be some sort of organization also interested in these rifts, but also appears to be in association with underworld mages. So lots of different parties all happening at the same time. You've got the Agents of Hell, you've got Magnus Charybdis, and then the Agents of Good, which are the Arcanon Collective, and maybe the Southern Cantual territory, and the Merchants Grotto Guild. The party stopped over in Gresher to recoup after their loss of their captain during a fight with a giant rock. Tave was slain. And they were joined by another member, Caspian Coppersmith, a copper dragonborn who was from the Falkenright University, which is also in Gresher, which is the main city on the east coast of Valtora. So if you see here, the party has now moved up the coastline through here. In Gresher, they gain more renown through the university, acquiring another ship and 3 quests to find ancient artifacts through the university. They also gain renown through the Arcanon Collective's chapter Arcanum, and the Archmage there, Farron Summerwind, who is working with Aki with her own personal exploits of magic. We're almost done, I promise. The group after making good connections, also made a few more sinister ones. A few members of the group, Oppo, Profugo, and Dimitri, fell into league after Dimitri came into contact with a very addictive drug called Spice. They fell in leagues with the Swath and a sinister man known as Ember, who requested that they do a few jobs for him in exchange for a large sum of gold. Unfortunately, as collateral, he also required them their blood. After a few days of deliberation, Oppo and Dimitri decided to take him up on his offer and took on 2 quests from the Swath in order to get their money, exchanging blood for 2 contracts. One was to steal a vial from the vault of the Valtorian soldiers in town. The vial was not described. And the second was there was talk of a turf war happening in one of the towns in the SCT, a town called Forsul. Now, the Swath wanted a piece of that pie. Actually, they wanted the whole pie, and sent the group southward with 3 tons of poisoned drugs to distribute among the population of the town in order to A, take out both members of rival gangs, and cause some stir, allowing for room for the Swath to go in and take hold. Now, we're coming up to current events now. The party has sailed back down to Marta with their ship in an attempt to rid the problem of the depth crawlers once and for all. Upon returning to Marta, the party unfortunately saw that most of the southern Cantual territory is under siege by Captain Sabal and his depth crawlers. The party witnessed his ship, the Sea Widow's Torment, blast a massive fort off the top of a mountain from a range that they have never thought was possible. They also encountered a blockade of SCT Navy, which they were granted entrance to after they have worked with the SCT Navy from before. However, on board of their ship was a Swath member, Chendrick, who was sent to make sure that the party could complete their tasks without delay, sending the drugs to Forsul. The party docked in Marta, and a brief altercation occurred within the ship confines between Captain Oppo and Chendrick, arguing about the timeline of whether or not the quest could wait till after the pirates had been killed or not. Chendrick, saying that he didn't want to keep the Swath waiting, attempted to leave and complete the quest on his own, stating that they were screwed. A brief altercation occurred on the docks in broad daylight, where Chendrick was bound with magical handcuffs. Both of his arms were cut off and washed with acid, and but not before he was able to send a message back to the Swath, essentially saying that the party had double-crossed them. Now, in full daylight, Admiral Rodor of the SCT Navy has approached the group and has begun to talk to them, asking them what happened, as well as members of the Merchants Grotto Guild, who are also in question, as Chendrick was a member of that as well. Oppo, attempting to turn a new leaf and not to lie, has unfolded the plots that he was sent down here for to the Admiral of the Navy, stating that he was in possession of laced drugs, attempting to take them to Forsul. Essentially confessed to everything that they were doing for the Swath. This is where we begin to pick up. The Admiral of the Navy is arresting Oppo and Dimitri on the docks, and that's where we're going to start tonight's episode. But before we do that, I would like everyone to go around and just give a brief character introduction, because there's going to be a few characters who are not directly in this first scene, but I don't want them to go unsaid. So I'm going to finish setting up my stuff here and getting everything ready. I'd like you guys to go around and just give a brief description of your name and your character.
My name is Nicholas Webley. I'm playing the character Profugo. I'm an ASMR paladin / celestial warlock. I ended up in this plane looking for somebody that murdered my family. I didn't come here myself. Through some kind of dark magic, I ended up here, and I've been searching ever since.
My name is Kristen, and I am a Dream Touch Druid, and I am just joining this journey.
What's your name?
Oh, I forgot. My name is Leaf.
Perfect.
My name is Garrett. I play Oppo, who may or may not be alive after tonight. He is a rogue paladin. He's a Triton. He was formerly the first mate of Captain Sabal before failed mutiny, which started the whole depth crawler invasion kind of thing. And yeah, he's trying to leave the pirate lifestyle and become a better person.
Okay, Zach, you're next.
Is there like a gate on the audio or something?
Is there a gate? I don't think so. Why?
Or like the Discord volume or something? It keeps it keeps cutting out when it's really quiet, and it sounds like it's
Probably the audio input volume.
like the input
You
threshold.
could see, maybe go on this Discord here and
Yeah.
turn the sensitivity all the way to all the way on, always.
We might not have done that the other day.
Okay. Well, while we're doing that,
I'm sorry.
yeah, we're gonna try and
couldn't
fix
hear.
that, Zach.
Go ahead.
Well, if you want, you can just give your character instruction. We'll try to
Yeah.
fix that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Zach. I'm playing Dimitri. Dimitri is a turtle barbarian. I kind of got some of the backstory, but yeah, I like to hit stuff.
Like this one, snort spice.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Alright, I'm Rebecca. I'm playing Caspian Coppersmith, a noble, dragonborn, hexblade warlock. And he is a burly, middle-aged male, lighthearted, humorous, selfless, warm, friendly. He has a posh accent, and he is pretty much always smoking a pipe.
I guess.
I'm Graydon. I will be playing Clarence Goodlight, a paladin of the Order of Palor. He is a missionary here to spread the good word of his God to the masses.
Goodness.
You shall see how that goes.
Classic paladin.
Yep.
Oh,
I think it's great. You're us.
Maybe.
I think that's the problem.
Adrian, you're next.
Okay, I'm playing Akagi-than, nicknamed Aki. She is a celestial warlock tiefling. She was rescued by the Arcanon Collective, led by Mira in a raid on the Mages of Dunia. And she was basically adopted by the Silver Dragonborn, and she has decided to basically pursue a life of scholarly work in the elemental magics and understanding how they interact with the balance of this world.
Perfect. Also,
My
Zach.
name's Adrian. Forgot.
Zach, I turned off the gate for the audio, so that should have fixed it. So let me know if it's still being a problem, and then we will
He's helping his brother right now.
address it from there.
We still don't have
Okay.
camera feed.
Yeah, it sounded like it was better. So,
Sounds better?
yeah, it's not cutting out now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I,
yeah, it was the output volume.
I turned off the
Got it.
sensitivity for us in the room for
Yeah.
them. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it was just if it was too quiet, it was muting
Cutting
the
out,
audio.
yeah. All right, perfect. So, you guys ready to jump into
Kaylin.
tonight's episode?
Wait.
Yes.
Alright, let's go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Where,
Do you have, like,
Kaylin, where do you want me to email that character sheet?
Lean back in your
Oh,
chairs.
yeah.
Yeah, remember
We can
everybody.
see the
Chill.
shot.
The top of your heads are going to be cut by the top of the.
Which is good. We want that. Yeah.
Like,
So
Kristen.
it's capturing the
Yeah.
So yeah,
the
so
very top
the
of your
farther, the
head.
farther back you sit, the less on the.
Wait, are you watching us right now?
I'm making sure the audio volumes are all good too.
Ah, sweet.
So yeah, we're good. And I'm following the
If
chat.
you want a
so-
quick reference, we're also being streamed from that computer there, but it's going to be 15 seconds of lag before you actually see yourself move.
Yes, I played with it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like not 15. It's like 5. 5 to 8. It's all good.
5 to 10 to 15 to
Fluid.
30 to.
Yeah.
All right, take some time.
Okay. So,
Oh my god.
the party finds themselves standing on the docks after essentially torturing Chendrick
It's already
in broad daylight of the entire town. Chendrick is hauled away off the docks.
Who is?
Chendrick is.
Okay, yeah.
He is hauled away. He is hauled away to seek medical attention for the wounds on his and acid burns on his.
He ain't got no hands.
He's got no hands left. Admiral Roder approaches you after you stepped into the zone of truth and essentially have confessed to the entire party's crimes. Well, just essentially you and Dimitri.
Yep.
And he says, "All right, well, this is too serious for me to pass judgment here. So, you and Dimitri shall come with me as we continue with this investigation. All of your belongings are also coming with us for evidence."
Oh shit.
Fair enough. I have no qualms.
He gestures to you to hold out your hands to be handcuffed.
I will sort of, put my hands out.
Yeah, He puts you in shackles. He turns to Dimitri too. You as well. You must come for investigations against crimes committed against the crown.
All right, we'll go with him.
You go with him? Okay.
As I'm walking away, I will turn to Prafu and say, keep an eye out. There are others who will come, enemies of us from the swath.
Okay, I don't respond, but I'll just nod and say yes, I will.
You don't respond.
No, the
Okay.
rest of y'all are here. Oh, well, I didn't respond.
Oppo and Dimitri are led off the docks down back towards the city of Marta, and then they turn a right, and you see them heading towards Fort Darrow.
That dynamic.
The rest of the party. What are you guys doing?
Did they just get arrested?
I'm going to
What's
spread
happening?
Oppo's message slowly throughout the group, just tapping them on the shoulder and whispering in their ear what was repeated to me.
I think I'm going to contact Mira.
So, okay. At this time also, Leaf and your character's name?
Clarence Goodluck.
Oh, you're playing Clarence. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're playing
introduction to
Clarence,
Clarence.
like he's
Yes.
played before.
Obviously. I've got one whole session of Clarence under my belt.
Leaf and Clarence, you guys are part of this crowd that has gathered on the docks watching this just like display. So your kind of background is the last couple days have been tough. It's the Navy has been on high alert. All their ships have been pulled out of the harbor to form a blockade against, and every so often, every couple of days, you guys will just hear just booming, echoing cannon fire from offshore, right? Nothing directly at the town yet, but it has just been a cacophony of just rolling thunder over the last couple of days, and everyone is just really on edge. And actually, a lot of people of Marta have left town because they're so scared that the Navy will not be able to handle these pirates that are coming. One ship has come into port in the last 3 days, and that is a ship flying with a large black sail with a kind of ornate-looking tabashi emblazoned on the front. Their ship. This is the only ship that's come into town. And a crowd begins to gather as this ship pulls into port. And nothing happens right away, but then there's very obviously something happening. An altercation happens on board. A few people get off, a dwarf and a triton, and I think Aki went as well. No,
No.
I was on the boat for a long time.
Caspian
went.
I was stuck.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a dragonborn, a triton, and a dwarf get off, and they walk into the actual building itself of the Merchants Grotto Guild. They're in there for about 5-10 minutes, and then they come out. And the dwarf is walking much faster than the others, and they're kind of following. And the whole crowd is kind of like just watching this exchange happen. It's very, very weird and out of place. And then the whole thing just erupts, right? Two of them jump down and attempt to grab the dwarf and put him in handcuffs. He shoves back and axes the Triton in the face. The Triton falls to the ground, and an entire skirmish erupts on the docks. You know, he get these handcuffs put on that hold his hands in place. The Triton is healed back from the brink of death and resumes the fray. They chop both of his hands off and then cauterize it with acid. And then the Navy shows up. And you guys are just watching this whole display happening.
And there were assassins. Don't forget
Oh,
the assassins.
Yeah, there were
Right.
assassins that came in.
Two assassins also sprinted out of town and joined in the fray, and where one was just stuck through the deck of the docks by Dimitri, the sword going through his back, through the boards, into the water below, and Oppo jumping off of the dock and shooting one in the head as they attempt to swim away from the dock and float to the surface, and they pull the bodies on board, and then the Navy shows up. This is wild. This is a wild time.
Yeah,
You two have been traveling together for some time, finding a bit of safety in numbers along the roads, finding yourself to Marta in an attempt to resupply and continue on your journey, and you are faced by this group of adventurers.
Clarence would like to approach the group as soon as the crowd disperses enough that he might get a word to them.
Okay, they're all just kind of standing there a little bit in shock. Their crew is still offloading boxes of goods.
Who does it appear to be the leader of the group?
Give me a perception check.
Ooh.
11.
11.
Marvelously average.
I'm gonna roll a random number here for a second.
They all look like.
Ooh. Seems like actually works because.
Seems
I
like
mean,
anyone else.
out here, I think Oppo is still interim captain at this point.
Oppo is still technically the captain, but he is rolling to see who he thinks,
Who he thinks is the leader.
Because if he thinks you're the captain, you just get axed in the face. But I'm gonna roll random. You're the leader.
Cool.
So you see this Triton who is just like awash with blood.
Yeah.
He
He
has
has, like,
this kind of
scars on
very
the face, basically.
fresh-looking axe wound right down the center of his face, which looks like it's healed
Right
over
here.
and is a much lighter blue than the rest of his body. But he looks a little fucked up. Oh no, you were hauled off. You're not even
I'm
there.
not even there anymore.
You're not there
You may have
anymore.
seen me pass.
You
but-
think Caspian, this Dragonborn, is the leader. You're the next person clockwise or clockwise.
Well, that went backwards too as well. Gang.
Clarence would like to approach this this Caspian person. Hello there, fair traveler. It appears that your companion is in mortal danger, and I'd like to ask you if we would be able to give him his last rites by the order of Palor, or at the very least, give our guidance to your group.
Well, that is mighty kind of you.
Which one of these characters?
However, I do not believe he is in mortal danger. They are taking him to the hospital or such.
They took him to Fort Darrow.
Fort Darrow, and they
Which
will
is-
treat his wounds there. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Fort Darrow is the headquarters of the Navy,
Yeah.
also where they keep their
Right.
prison.
I do not
But there-
believe I've ever seen anyone exit that building after being hauled in there in
Oh dear.
handcuffs.
That is quite arresting. Haha. Don't mind the pun. But
Romance.
in that case, if your intention is to help him, however, I very much think that Appo would enjoy such kindness.
He did appear to have the mark of a paladin about him.
Yes, he recently acquired that one. I'm not sure how well it's working out for him. However, he's doing his best.
If I were to just merely observe, it doesn't appear he's doing well.
Well, why don't we follow him? That sounds fun.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, indeed. Let's go. Would you like to introduce us to your companions?
Oh,
So you see
Is-
walking up, Leaf. You kind of follow him as you see him kind of approach the group as well.
yeah.
These seem like fine people. Come on.
Sure, we can try it out.
Why not?
Good try it out.
How many people follow?
Where's everyone else? Are you guys on the ship?
I
I think I'm still
What?
standing
Still on
like
the dock.
You're on the
looking
dock?
over it.
Yeah,
you're on
Aki
the
is
Are
edge.
they
up.
like around?
Aki is up on the deck of the
Let's
ship.
get a battle.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm on the dock. I have like fucking like 5 different arrows stuck inside of me. And they're just
Oh,
going
from
like,
the assassin.
That's right,
That's
yeah.
right.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of like panting hard with like a
I
big ass
forgot
sword
what a
covered
dire
in blood on it.
situation we
May
were
I
in.
heal you, sir?
I'm just gonna break off the arrows and heal myself. Oh, that's right, I did heal myself. So I guess they're broken off arrows and like they're like.
Oh, my D20.
I'm throwing guys. Healed.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
You got a marker?
If you'd like to.
Oh,
If you guys want to pass this marker.
an above average roll.
Hey, you want to draw a bow?
It's like who wants to be
Boca?
an artist?
What? Oh.
Bow shape.
Boat
Oh,
and
god
dock.
damn it. No pressure.
Easy peasy.
What do boats look like?
Ooh, do it more on this edge over here.
What does our boat look like?
Like a boat.
It's like a brigantine.
Okay.
You know what a boat looks like? You play a lot of pirate games.
Yeah,
So
right?
So I'm
Just
bruised.
like Assassin's Creed Black
Exactly.
Flag.
And
Yeah.
just to set the scene a little bit,
Like,
the
drop it
game.
over there.
Yeah.
the
my
current
favorite
climate,
is sea
it is
shanties.
technically the tropics,
Really?
but
I
a
like.
front has
I'm
pulled
more.
down.
I
It's currently kind of gray skies.
Second
rainy,
one's my favorite.
It's not the best weather. The fog
Second was-
kind of comes in the early mornings and the evenings, and the clouds hang low.
Here, I just- I think
Collecting
right
all
there.
the like feathers, that
Good
was
three.
the hardest part. It took
Taki's
so
there.
long.
Fugo was on the dock
I need like
here.
the last like 10.
I'm
Put
gonna
the work in to
kind of
get them.
flick the
We
blood
got it,
off of
like
my
me and my
blade
friend
and
just
start
spent a
cleaning
whole
up some
night
cloth. As in just
It's
sitting there in the dark, kind of
Dude,
panic
I
the whole
missed
time.
that shit.
I know I'm out of the area, but as I'm walking, as they're taking me, can I be just like constantly looking at all alleyways as we're walking to Fort Darrow?
Give me a perception check on your way to Fort Darrow.
My Beck is just flexing
17.
I'm trying to show
No
you.
You
pressure.
attempt to kind
What
of
else am I gonna
dart
do?
down, like look down alleyways and
Yeah.
see if
What
you
else
can
is
notice
on
any
the
other
show? Oh,
SWAT
there's
members who might have noticed your presence. You are in a ring of guards
Okay.
headed by Admiral Rodor. You don't catch a glimpse of anything other than mainly just like chainmail and guard as you're
Okay.
looking around. And at one point, one of the guards behind you notices you kind of like your eyes darting, and he shoves you in the back and he goes, "Eyes forward and down. Don't you need to get any ideas running off here?"
Do I notice the crowd of people that is gathered around us, other than these two that just walked by us?
So there was a massive crowd watching this whole escapade, and then the Navy kind of came in. They all kind of backed off a little bit, and then the Navy took 2 people away. And it's probably been about 5 or 10 minutes since that's happened, and people have kind of just slowly begun to trickle away. All the excitement seems to have kind of ended. So
Kristen.
Feel free to pick one
And
for
Becca.
everyone. Yeah, I don't have one, so.
I'll be
Oh,
Kristen.
Pick a
Where's
human-looking
Jindar?
one for me.
Or
Where's your-
what's your race? You're
A human.
Dragonborn.
You're human?
And Dragonborn.
Is that a human?
Oh, you're a human. Damn, a human paladin.
This
It's a green
is
I
it.
am playing to
Green-
the trope to
Well,
the
they're
T.
wearing a green
okay?
Green trope.
Green suit.
that could be great.
So that works. That is basically a paladin. So.
It's a druid, man.
And then you have
Yeah,
Aki's.
druids,
and one for you.
Yeah.
There should be a dragonborn there. He's like fucking bright blue.
Jindar?
Yeah.
Dude, shout out to my boy
Adrian
Jindar.
colored it with Sharpie.
He's blue with a red shield.
So he looks a little,
Let's do
little
that.
sad,
Cool.
but
He's sick. He looks strange.
Dope. I like that. I like
hey
that.
Zach,
That's awesome.
are
better
we gonna
than
have a
no
webcam
color
for
at all.
Julian?
Awesome. Dude, look at him.
He's very blue.
Yeah. He was a blue dragonborn.
where am I? Oh, I'm over
Named
here,
Jindar
right.
Oros.
Where's? Oh, we're
We'll
talking
make
to
we'll
me.
make this one Dimitri.
I'm about to attack.
That'll be Dimitri.
I'm about to defend.
So me and Dimitri are over
It's
here.
very dynamic.
Hey Zach.
Zach, you're muted.
Zach, you're muted. And also,
Yeah.
are we gonna get a webcam for Julian?
He could get on his laptop.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll just make it easier so I don't forget anybody.
Yeah.
What race?
Yeah.
What race is his character?
I don't know. He's into the Adventurers Guild. Oh no!
Adventurers Guild.
Kind of works for the turtle.
What?
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough. It's green, scaly. It's got a club and a shield. Basically Dimitri.
You need to glue on like a little popcorn kernel or
could
something
try
for his
For his shell.
Yeah.
On a laptop.
What broke? We were talking, so we minimized it, but it was showing the text, the chat text. Yeah, I got it. No worries, we're good. See, look, it's still on the stream. It was showing the chat, and then that was over there, but now it's going to
Use your
show as
headphones.
soon as he comes in. It's,
It's a headphone jack.
Sweet.
That's that display capture. It's fucking weird.
Don't your headphones have a microphone on them? Let me see this.
Wait, Zach's brother is with him?
Yes.
Up in Michigan?
No, he's in
Virginia?
Virginia right now.
Alright.
Yeah, so the fact that this is working out so smoothly, I am amazed.
I'm
Blown away
impressed.
that it's worked so
I
well.
like,
for us
holy
right now.
shit, awesome.
So far, so good, except for Zach's brother.
Dude, that's like the final like piece in the puzzle. You're
Yep.
like, where did I put it? You can't find it.
Where's Joe?
He's done.
Joe did not
We'll
wanna go.
talk about
He
that.
didn't- yeah.
Okay.
It's later.
Okay. Oppo, and Dimitri, you guys are led into Fort Darrow and are immediately just placed behind bars.
Do we like still have our stuff or they took all our stuff?
They take all your stuff.
All our stuff.
All your stuff.
Armor,
And then
or is armor still on or not?
your armor is stripped, and you are given robes
Shit.
to wear in as well.
You can saw your PP.
Yeah. You hear that, Dimitri? You have no.
Dimitri, you are placed in a cell. All of your armor and your weapons are stripped from you. I mean, you're naturally wearing your armor, so it's fine. But your weapons and everything, all your belongings are taken from you as evidence.
Okay.
You
You
got
guys,
like a loincloth.
you guys are
That's
placed
it.
in cells. Now, in about 15 or 20 minutes, unless there's anything you have to do beforehand, Admiral Rotor walks back.
I'd like to board the ship and assess the situation, or like how they perceived whatever they just saw, and then tell them.
The crew?
Yeah, the crew.
Okay. Yeah, the crew, as you board the ship, the crew all are kind of standing there and just watching as you guys come on board. The only people who automatically are just like fine are Tico, Sweatball, and Stinko. Alright, mate, welcome back. You really got that guy down there, didn't you? Right, mate? And he like the high fives all around for Pafuga. They don't care. Yeah. Like, yeah. Nothing worse than what you did to our crew, so you know, a little bit of tough love.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, like,
it's not a bad thing at all.
You don't fuck with us, man.
And I'm gonna tell them they got our captain. And
Oh, that's not ideal actually. But
our captain gave himself.
They got our captain. I'm
You
just
on
gonna
the
like
boat?
skulk away back into
I love Perfugo
the
so much.
underneath the walls. I'm gonna go
It's like making my
come back up and then just like cast my line in the water.
Okay.
Up one spot.
okay, yeah, you cast your line in. Nothing seems to be biting right now.
Even the fish are saying.
There is a slow, kind of ever-present rain that's kind of has come through with the kind of cold weather that followed you down from the north.
Trying to contact Mira.
Mira? Okay. You're gonna send a message. What do you say?
Mira? Oppo
That should work.
made the wrong choice. He really fucked up.
That's it.
Sounds like you could
You
use
can miss back. I'm not surprised.
She
It's just a sigh. It's a really long sigh.
you just hear this. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. What does this mean for the group?
I am unsure. Our standing in Marta is questionable now, at best. Is there any way you can assist us?
She goes, my hands are a bit tied up here at the Arcanum Collective. I would not expect you back so soon.
It was a foolish choice. Apo decided to plot. Subplot within plot. It's very confusing. But he is captured by the Mardinian guards.
Give me a couple of days,
Shift
and I will see
and
what I can
click
do.
The Marinara guards.
The Marinara guards.
And the connection is severed. Yeah.
2080
What does your
soup.
character look like?
He's a Triton. He's
Your
a fish
character.
man.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's your race?
Dream
It's a
time.
druid. Dream
He's
touch.
Dream Touch. So the Kalashtar are basically like humanoids. They look like, I think, Jedi.
Okay.
Like slightly like humanoid,
Do they have
like psychic powers.
pointy ears?
They probably do.
They
Yeah, it's
can?
fucking D&D.
They
Yeah, they
Sure.
can. You have literally
This is
pointed
a
ears
homebrew
for being a
campaign,
druid.
so
There you go.
it's
The
fine.
Fey magic has altered you in such a way.
Yep. Sure.
Fair.
Why not?
Dream Touch the Feywild. Why not?
Yeah, sure. So after probably about 20-30 minutes, you guys have all gone back on board, and your crew has kind of like silently been like unloading the rest of the because you guys were taking about 8 tons of equipment down from the Merchants Grotto Guild in exchange for their assistance for you guys in Gresher.
He's swapping laptop.
So they're unloading all this cargo, and eventually you hear this, "Hey!" from down below. You two, I guess you guys could have boarded the ship with them as well if you wanted to kind of come on board. You guys find a little bit of respite from the rain in the captain's quarters. You're in there with Caspian, Coppersmith, and Aki. Perfugo, you're just kind of fishing off to the side. And you guys have kind of been discussing. You guys are looking for adventuring parties that can be a little bit more helpful to your own quests. And although this is a bit of an awkward situation that the group finds themselves in now, they seem the strongest people that have come into town, and also they have a ship. So getting around, very easy. Here in the SCT, having a boat is like having a car or like a horse. Like most travel in this area is done with a ship. There is very, very little overland travel done. Horses are extremely rare in these parts. So they have a ship, and they sailed in, so they can sail out.
Yes, you seemed like kind of lonely, so I brought you aboard our ship. It's nice and warm and respite from the rain.
Profugo, I yell at you from inside the quarters.
Don't you think we should try and go have someone heal Appo a little before he's thrown in a dungeon?
Heal him.
He had an axe fucking wound in the middle of his face.
He was healed.
How fully were you feel?
Not really.
I'm about 3/4 the way up.
I'm a little tired, but
It's still okay.
after a
It
little
looks
bit of
terrible.
There's a
of
nice scar on my
rest,
face, basically.
I'll be
right
able
now.
to heal.
Kind of like Tyrion style kind of thing, just a little bit worse.
Oh, no nose anymore. It's just the like hole where your nose was.
Oh!
You don't breathe down. You just breathe.
Oh god.
What?
It heals.
I healed. What do you
No, you have gills.
Gills.
Oh, I have gills, yeah.
Well, that's
I do
true.
have gills. So
You're good.
I can breathe through
Fine.
multiple
On
orifices.
second thought, he might be fine. That's what I told this one, but he really wanted to help.
Hail!
What's your name again?
For the second
Oh,
time.
my name?
yeah.
It's Clarence Goodlight.
Hearing
Oh,
this,
Clarence, yes.
I'm going
It
to
seems very nice.
walk to the front of the deck and look for the source of the sound.
Okay. So as you guys are kind of conversing inside, you hear this, "Hail!" and you see Profugo hop up and walk over to the edge of the boat, and you see that there's Admiral Rodor again on the dock, with not quite as many guards, probably only about 8 to 10 now. There were like 35, 40 before, but 8 to 10.
On our ship?
No,
Oh,
there were 30 to
okay.
40 on the docks during the
I
whole
was gonna say.
fucking thing, but now he's only with a small party of about 8 to 10 guards. He looks up at you, Profugo, and he goes, "Profugo, may we have words?"
Yes, Admiral. I will come down, and I'm gonna.
He goes, "Actually, if we might have words in your captain's quarters under the rain."
Come.
All right. And he kind of burly half-orc gets on and begins to board the ship. Opens the door, and there, all 3 of you, or all 4 of you, see this large, burly. He's got 2 tusks that have these kind of ornate silver-capped pieces on top of them, and he's got his hair pulled back into a ponytail, and he carries a large axe at his side. Admiral Rodor walks back into the room, and he goes,
Well, that is not exactly how I anticipated my day going. On one hand, welcome back to Marda. On the second, what were you thinking?
Oh, I'm not sure we were thinking, sir. Truly apologize for the chaos we've caused.
Now, you've done many good deeds for this territory, and I'm well aware of your exploits to the south of here, saving 2 of our towns. For that, I am eternally grateful. Now, unfortunately, however, you've caused a bit of a stir, in such a way that I have to send a report to the capital. We have Julian.
"Hello!
Hello.
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 Hello! Don't worry, we're about to get to you." Admiral Rodor
No
comes to
rush.
you and says,
I have to let Tarina know that you've tied my hands in this matter. It was one thing to bring drugs, another thing to make into a fight in the middle of the street, another thing to have the SWAF involved. This is a real mess and a real shitty time.
The SWAF, you know of them?
Well, I only assume that those are the assassins we have recovered on the docks of the bridge. Only the SWAT would be so bold to attack in open daylight like that. Am I right?
Interesting.
I believe so.
Yeah.
They might have-
Of course I'm right. Well, there will be a trial. The Truth Seeker is coming, Tarina, from which you are well aware. Now, she wasn't super keen that you left in the first place, but I hope that I can all expect your attendance to the trial in 3 days' time to give a testimony for your captain and your friend. Will you be there?
Yes, we will.
Good. At the moment, none of the rest of you are under arrest. The captain admitted his crimes and only named one other in the party of being involved. But you're on thin fucking ice.
Admiral, may our crew come as well to give their testimony? They all know Captain Oppo as well, and have things to serve his character as well.
Your crew may attend, as long as there are no weapons.
Agreed.
I'll not be having a coup inside my courthouse.
Well, I can summon my weapon from thin air. So not
I ask
worried
that you
about that.
don't do that in the courthouse.
I didn't say that shit aloud. Trust me.
You two, looking at Leaf and Clarence.
I know that you're new in town, and I am not familiar with your names, or who you are, or where you come from, or anything. But if you're with this group, I say one, be careful. Two, they're the strongest group out here. I'm sure you'll go far. Now, I have a lot of paperwork to finish.
Was that
Don't-
because of us?
What?
Paperwork because of...
Yes, because of literally 10 minutes ago, what you guys did in my town, during a siege, from pirates. I have to deal with this bullshit. Who are you anyway? I don't know who you are.
Oh, why?
No, you, the Dragonborn. Who are you?
You're the Dragonborn.
Well, me?
Oh.
You don't need to know who I am.
Those robes.
What? Oh, I mean...
Are you with the university?
Maybe.
Why didn't you just say no? I have more paperwork to do now. Fucking right.
What the fuck is
Well,
causing you to have all this paperwork? How could you possibly have paperwork for finding out that I may or may not be with the university?
you are in the university and you're associated with criminals.
What is
I have to give
paperwork?
I am not associated with criminals.
I beg to differ, but
I have done
no.
nothing wrong.
You are on the ship in which the captain himself has confessed to smuggling drugs.
I am not part of this crew.
Give me a persuasion check.
I'm fucking telling the truth.
That's why it's persuasion, not
I
deception.
have to actually look at my stats.
He doesn't know that.
15.
15?
Yes.
He goes, so are you just voyaging?
Yes, exactly.
Then why
That's
is a
quite what I get paid to do.
Why is a university ship docked right behind this one?
I don't know them. I just tagged along for the ride.
Give me
They
a
seem
deception
like
check.
nice people.
That was a lie.
I mean, okay.
That was
That was totally a lie.
I don't know them that well.
The people
A
from the
little.
university.
I've met them recently.
What about that skimmercraft I saw coming in here too?
As you saw.
Oh, that's my vacation house.
What if I clarified the truth?
Yeah.
Deception check.
Still?
Deception check.
Okay. Oh,
When I look
that
at this,
thing
your
pushed
spells
it
are
over.
wrong.
Is it cocked?
Oh,
would have been
no.
a 12.
It would have been a 12, but whatever. Okay, what's my deception?
Oh my god, the is
15 again.
15?
Yeah.
He looks you up and down and he says, he kind of like squints his eyes and he goes,
Are you with the university? What say you?
Imagining this
I-
big dragonborn just
like-
going.
Yeah, like literally
Knock
that's
this
what I'm
shit
gonna do.
over.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yes or no? Are you with the university?
I'm gonna
and he's
go-
like shaking his head no slightly.
I'm gonna
Profuga is just gonna interject saying, yes, he's in the university.
The fuck's wrong with
I
you?
literally just gave you a chance to say no. I literally just gave you a chance to say no.
I'm not fine.
Well, okay. I'm
you
with
are
the
such
university,
great
however,
fellas.
I'm not associated with criminals. I told you I just met them. I was tagging along. They seemed nice, but
None
apparently
of
they're
you
not
are to leave town. Consider all your ships, this one, the brigantine behind, and that skimmercraft impounded until further notice.
Impounded? But why?
He turns and he's he's like shaking his head. Just like,
How am I supposed to spread Taylor's light now?
That's the least of your concerns.
It's the most of my concerns, thank you very much.
Is he gone by now?
he's like exiting the door, grumbling, and like walking out.
I'm gonna, Profuga's gonna stand up to the crowd. I mean, stand up. I'm gonna fly into the fucking air. That's what I'm trying to say.
Inside the captain's quarters?
No. I'm gonna go outside.
You're gonna go outside.
To where the crew is.
Okay.
And once he's out of earshot,
Yeah.
can I see that he would be out of earshot?
He's like descending the planks now, off your ship down to the docks.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna go and sit on the mast.
Okay.
And I'm gonna wait for him to be gone. And then say,
Okay.
crew, gather round, nice and close. We have things we must discuss. And then
You see like with like a large, loud, echoing voice, and then you hear coming kind of down on the decks. Yeah, the fucking man, get the fuck up on the deck, piece of shit. And you see like Tico like throw a guy up on the dock, and like Ball's like kicking his ass, and the kid just got fucking words, mate. Fluka's gonna say something. Shut the fuck up, man. And then like they all eventually, after a bit of corralling, appear on deck. Then you see like Tico, Total Ball's like very, very like puff-chested underneath the mast, like staring out of the crew. This is not your fucking mates.
Hype man.
Yeah, just hyping you up as always.
You're the squad.
Those are your boys for
those
life.
are my boys.
It's actually squad lead.
You only murdered half their friends. So.
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, fucking join us.
Join us.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I'm gonna look out onto the crew and say, crew, in 3 days' time, we have a very important job to do. You all must come with us. We'll be going to the Fort Nero.
The Hall of Justice.
The Hall of Justice to give our testimony for our Captain Oppo. Now, I need all of your perceptions of this captain. I want this process to be as honest as possible, and then we can go on from there.
Doesn't sound very good.
I wasn't the nicest captain. I didn't trust most of them.
Yeah, you kind of like yelled at them all the time.
Why Clarence what?
Dragged her into
Or
it.
this is must have just like ransacked the entire ship.
Welcome to D&D.
I do believe you might be right. In the gallows.
Just hold it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, while you guys are messing on deck, Oppo,
Yep.
you've been placed into your own cell. By yourself.
Is there a window?
There are.
There's no window.
There's a
Shut-
very.
I need a window.
Probably about 8 to 10 feet up. There is a single sliver of light that comes through the stone and metal of this fort has been worked in a way that it just kind of meets, and there's a small sliver. There are no bars. The window's only about 1.5 inches
Can I see this? Can I see the sky though?
You can see a sliver of gray.
Okay.
Of the rain clouds.
Great
Dimitri, you are thrown into another cell. However, there is someone else there with you. You look over and kind of in the corner, a little terrified that you're in there, is a gnome. Julian, if you'd like to describe your character.
I am a forest gnome. Perhaps tipping is prime, so maybe a 215. I am a so I'm a gnome. I have a long beard, just about gray, and I like to braid it out down to my knees.
Alright.
Okay.
And what's your
I'll
name?
stick out a hand.
What's your
Say
name?
what? I'm Oscar.
Oscar.
Oscar and Dimitri.
Oh my gosh.
So Oscar, you look up as this hulking turtle is just kind of like shoved forward into the cell, and he just obscures pretty much the entire light of the actual bars of the cell. Admiral Rodor has entered into the cell with Oppo, and he sits down on a stool, and he goes, "So, how's your face?"
Hurts like hell, but you know, was never my moneymaker. My sword skills were.
Well, you've kind of gotten yourself into a mess of trouble.
Would you believe me if I told you there was actually a plan here?
I would tell you that it's really not up to me at this point.
I understand, but benefit of the doubt kind of thing.
He kind of pulls out, and he has a water skin, and he hands it to you with a small plate of food.
Just like down the water skin. Just...
What was that motion?
Careful now. We're on stream.
And he looks at you and he goes, I had to call Trina.
Did you see? I was just like, fuck. Like, okay, yep.
So
She didn't really like me when I left, so. Oh man.
Look, I'm going to do everything I can, but you've kind of put yourself in a bit of a tough spot.
I know. I understand this.
All I ask is that you just don't try and pull anything funny, because that will definitely not help your situation that you're in now.
I will. If that's the case, I will ask this when Tarina gets here. I know she doesn't really like us, especially not me, but at least give me a chance for a fair trial.
You'll have a fair trial. I'll see to that. Well, try and rest up. She gets here in 3 days. And he leaves the cell. And he goes over to Dimitri. And he turns to Dimitri, and he looks in there and he goes, so I see you found your friend. Julian, what was your name again in game? Oscar.
I am Oscar. And see, this is one of the more pretty animals I've seen.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's a real looker, isn't he? Well, look, you see, here's the thing. Your captain kind of threw you under the bus a little bit back there. There will be a fair trial. However, if you say that you're, I would just word your words carefully on your involvement with this process. I can't guarantee your captain's safety, but there are things you can do that might help yourself. Captain's orders are a hell of a thing, and you seem to follow your captain's orders to the letter of the law. Now, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That means you're good at following orders. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're muted, Zach.
Yes, comrade. I would like to know where I can find a lawyer.
Give me a wisdom check to see if you know a lawyer.
Oh my gosh. It's really gonna be Law and Order SCT. Dun, 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 dun,
Wisdom.
dun.
Oh my god.
All right.
This week in the realm.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, dice view.
Transparency.
Non-natural 20.
Natural 20.
He goes, well, we have court-appointed lawyers from the Hall of Justice. They may or may not help you. A lot of them are really scared of Tarina. She's a very scary person. You may appoint one yourself if you see fit.
Dimitri not so good with legal battle. Better with sword battle.
I'd say your best legal battle is, your captain told you to do some things, and being a sword type, you did the things your captain asked you to do, and that's about as far as you did. You didn't think anything else more than that, other than that.
Yeah, sure.
And don't worry, you, Oscar, that's your name, right?
Yes, sir.
We haven't forgotten about you either. Your trial will be first for the 3 accounts of grave robbing, and possession of stolen property of other people. Just because those people are dead doesn't mean their family are okay with you taking their teeth. So
It would be an honor to place in your trial.
You'll face trial before these lot. And believe me, I think you'll get off pretty light with the sentencing of the other counts in the courtroom. So just hang tight for me, and then we'll come get you in a couple days.
I'll try.
And he slides food and water underneath the bars for you guys too.
Can we bring these fuckers out?
No. All right. So, is there anything else you guys would like to do in the remaining couple of days before the airship arrives?
Oppo will take an evening to sort of, when he can, sort of speak to the Moonweaver. And just be like, yeah, I done screwed up on this one. This isn't really what you imagined when you bestowed the champion of the Moonweaver on me, but I don't know if if I'm not meant to be yours, just let me know now.
Give me a religion check.
Woohoo! Ooh, 19.
19. As you sit and are staring up towards the bar, like one of the window slit, in kind of the setting afternoon sun, kind of lit, backlighting the gray clouds, some slightly darker clouds begin to wash over and begin to filter the light darker into yourself.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
Sorry, buddy.
No, that's yep. She's pissed.
She's a little pissed.
She's a little pissed.
So is there anything else you guys would like to do in the next 3 days waiting for the trial?
Oh, I'd like to begin preaching the righteousness of Palor to the crew of the ship.
Give me a performance check to see of who of the crew you might actually like hold an audience with. For is it like on the bow of the ship, like Light of Palor.
That would be a 19. Oh wait, sorry, 7. Yeah, 19. Oh, 18. 18. That's math.
That's math for you.
Woo! 7 crew members.
Great.
Wow.
This is an amazing start.
And they're kind of more just like, at first they're just kind of just bored. I mean, like you guys are essentially are on like house arrest with the boat, and you've already offloaded all the cargo, so they're just kind of sitting there, just across there. You know, a few of them are on the decks, just sitting there, drinking a few cups of ale, and just walking around. And then Tico walks over. And he's like, "Mate, what are you yelling at people for? You know, we're in a bit of a scrap, and you shouting your god all over the deck."
Oh yes, of course. The darkest of times. It's towards Palor's light that we must turn.
Oh yeah. What? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, Palor is is my god. He's of all things good and light and right in this world.
And you just begin this long explanation of like your god.
Convert one of your boys, man.
Yeah.
And he just kind of sits there and he's just kind of like he glances around, see if anyone else is watching him. A few people are. Just, all right. Yep. See you later. and just kind of like walks over and kind of glances once over his shoulder at you as he
Well,
walks
thanks
away.
for your time, good sir. May you spread Palor's light.
I'd like to walk up to Leaf while this kind of speech is going on and ask, is your character male or female?
I'm gonna say they're non-binary.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up to them and ask, how did you come across this loud man?
This loud man.
Well, my home in the forest burned down, and so I've been wandering around ever since, trying to find a new place, and I thought it was kind of funny.
Your home, you say, but where is this home of which you speak? And fire?
You've probably never heard of it. I don't like speaking of it.
Mysterious.
Very much.
Can I, I'm going to pry and say, but I might have heard of it. I've traveled these lands for quite some time since I was brought here.
Oh, I
So,
know what towns are called.
can I roll to pry? What would I roll?
Are you gonna
roll the
pry?
Pry.
What is that skill?
It's
I don't
pry
have any
bar.
intent
It's
on
under
that.
strength.
You sit there and try to work, kind of opening her up and them up in the events of the day have kind of like overwhelmed them a little bit, like not expecting to be kind of, you know, deep end with cinder blocks into this group, and they kind of stay pretty closed up for the most part. But they don't immediately run away from the ship, which I guess is a good sign. So yeah. All right. Anything else? All right.
Time to go.
On the third day, we're gonna do.
Nope, that's done. It's over with.
It's over.
That song is buried.
We're on the long part of the year full of sadness and cold.
The after the fun days.
Yep.
Hey, at least we're not during that time between Christmas and New Year's where you're just like,
What is it?
I
What
like
am I
those days.
yeah,
Those
what
were
am I
the
supposed
best
to
days.
feel? Could
That shit is
Profugo
stressful.
potentially make the connection that this forest that was burned down could have been the very forest that we stopped fires in?
Oh.
I think.
Oh.
I didn't think about that.
That's what I was going for.
You raise up a roll audio, but
Okay, but
So
Insight,
I
insight
know
check.
She's gonna hate
Profugo
us.
doesn't know that.
Well,
Insight.
it wasn't directly our fault. We were just.
We tried to stop
We
it.
took
We did
longer.
stop it.
Yeah, we actually
No,
stopped
but
it.
it was that we took longer to stop it. If we had just
Yeah.
gone in and fought him, the
Well,
fire would have happened.
Give me just an insight check then.
Self-inflicted guilt type shit.
Yeah, we were young and naive.
Yeah.
So that's a 15.
I mean, they talk about an entire forest that mainly burned down, and the only one of them immediately jumps to your mind.
Okay.
Right? Giant rainforests don't burn down every day.
Right, okay. I'll take it.
Look straight at the camera.
At you, world.
Look at you, world.
Planet Earth.
Yeah, we try this cello music here for a little bit. Yeah, hold on. I'm just going to pull up a few things. If you guys want to converse about tactics or anything you guys want to do.
Let's pour
Do it
one
now.
out for Australia.
All
So
out.
who's helping me tomorrow? You're not helping.
I don't have any reason to.
Oh, I am
He's
helping.
helping you.
I am
I
helping
know.
so much.
How many crew members do we have? 40? Right? 40, about 40. So,
You see those scenes, right, where it's like where they almost seem doomed, right? At the very end, like you open the doors, and like all these people just walking by, like, we love this person, don't kill them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's
is
exactly what
Aki
you just
doing
accomplished.
anything
I will
to
be leading
public
them.
testimony?
Aki doesn't care about Oppo.
has Aki received any information from Mira?
Over the last 3 days?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
Aki is going to think about testifying for Oppo.
Okay. Do you send any more messages to Mira? You haven't heard back. This is the third day, the morning of the third day. The day of the trial.
I'm gonna say, Mira, today's the day that Oppo will possibly be sentenced. Is anything going to come?
She goes, I'll see you soon.
I will try to stall.
That's sort of ominous.
She's just gonna cast Moonbeam and kill us all.
Oh, man.
Moon.
Why would my mom do
At
that?
level 5.
Why would my mom do that?
My mom!
She's secretly abusive to you.
Level 7 Moonbeam immediately kills him.
Oh.
And the whole
I'm the
town is
semi-problematic child.
eviscerated.
You just got a magnifying glass, hit an ant? Yeah, that's basically it.
That's like doing that, but from the moon.
The moon, basically.
In the downtime, Profugo would like to the remaining crew members that were there for the Burning Forest, which was Jolcino, correct? Or Jolcino? I would like
Yeah.
to share the information that we might have a resident of that forest on board.
To the crew.
Yeah, just the adventurers that were there.
Okay.
Which I'm pretty sure at this point would be Aki.
I think it's just Aki.
Yeah. So I'm
Thanks.
going
It would
to
be.
say to Aki, this newcomer, druid, she speaks of her home burning down, a forest by massive wildfires. Does that not sound familiar?
And I say, well, yes. But I'm sure there's many wildfires in many places.
Yes, but near here?
Oh. No, that's really.
Probably
That's
not.
very strange.
We, including Oppo, did much work to save that forest. Perhaps if we told this traveler of our works with Oppo, could they testify for us tomorrow?
If they are from the forest, I do not see why not. There is the forest that Port Jolcino uses for lumber.
Okay, then Profugo is gonna walk to Leaf and say, come with me to the captain's quarters. So I must talk with you. I'm gonna motion for Aki to come with.
Alright.
Will you follow? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all gonna kind of huddle in, I guess. I'm gonna say, Leaf, this forest you speak of, it no longer burns.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know because I was a part of a crew that was sent there to stop the fires, and together through sweat, blood, tears, and burnt skin, we were able to close the rift that was causing your homeland to be burned. And we could not have done it if it was not for our captain Oppo, who literally summoned walls of water to stop elementals
Pissed
and
off
created a
DM in the process.
distraction.
How much of the forest is left?
How much of the forest is?
Fuck much. I don't think.
10 for 15% maybe? 10%?
Not much. But now that the fires have ceased and the grounds are fresh, we can put forth an effort to regrow this forest. The most important thing is that the threat has been stopped and the fire is not complete. And the forest is not completely gone. If it was not for Apolles, Apolles, our captain, the forest would be completely destroyed and who knows what else. Will you perhaps testify for his works tomorrow and what he's done to save your home?
Only if you swear to help restore it.
Ooh.
You have my loyalty.
Then sure.
I like
I'm
forests.
sure the
Why
White
not?
Mother would be very appreciative of that.
Forests are
And I
nice.
was kind of like,
This seems
Go
very
back to the
becoming of
garden.
Palor's
Right.
word. We shall restore the good nature.
Anyone who's sitting on the deck? You're on deck? You
I'm
on
in the
deck?
quarter.
well, we just went to the
Yeah,
captain's
yeah, we went to the
quarters.
captain's
You go
The-
back
the-
outside.
Yeah, and I go up to the
Give me
other garden and I
perception
kind of
check.
like pray to their wild mother. What perception check? Where's perception? That's just 10.
Okay. Not hard to miss. Oh, you see
Oh boy.
coming down from the clouds this massive
Oh shit.
airship
Oh.
descending
What?
from the clouds itself and pulling into an open clearing that they have. I mean, most of the ships are out of the port, so it takes the one directly next to you. And you see standing out on the balcony overlooking the town is Torino. Ralhazir, and sitting next to her, Mira Nerozine.
Oh my god.
She is on the ship too.
Alright,
Big Baywatch.
cool.
Together.
The best
They're in
possible
cahoots.
outcome.
Oh, the bosses are here.
Yeah, the big bosses are here.
It's like it's like the CEO and like the second in command, just like boom. You're like,
You see an entourage
Oh, no.
of Navy soldiers approach the docks themselves and just swarm up. Mira looks over towards
Who
your
are
ship.
these important-looking people?
Do I see see her
Trina
looking at me?
is the
Yeah, she kind of gives you one
princess
small
of the
nod,
SCT.
Ooh.
and then
I
Torina
forget who the other one
moves
is, but
inside
she's very
and
important.
heads down. And then they make their way
Fine
down to the
candidate
docks.
to convert to Palor.
They-
I'm gonna kind of like take
Sure,
off
why not?
and fly over to where they're like where I can meet the dock. That's gonna be the game plan, pretty much.
You're flying over the shoulders. There's probably 30 or 40 soldiers down there now
Oh.
that have swarmed around them, that have begun to an escort essentially.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe
You your wings out and you
I
get
see
like
the
one
crowd.
glance from Mira, and just kind of she turns and looks away from you and looks towards the town, and then without saying anything to the coming to the ship, Torina and Mira make their way towards the Hall of Justice.
As this is happening, I'd like to brief leaf on everything that's happened in the journey thus far. So
Okay.
not on just the player, but the character.
All right.
I would also like to listen in on this.
Yes. That's
This is like
yes.
like to listen.
So
Yes.
I roll to listen.
whispering
Yeah,
it,
that's pretty
and I
good.
see Clarence walking by. Say yes, I'll share the story with you as well.
Okay. You hear a gong strike out in the center of town. Just gong, gong,
Oh shit.
gong.
Seems important.
You guys make your way towards. It's actually not called the Hall of Justice. It's called the Hall of the Wise. I knew it wasn't just a stupid name at first.
Rodrigo is going to open the captain's quarters and yell, "Crew, come! Now is the time."
You see all your crew just like they're just like fully bristled, armed to the teeth, getting ready for battle.
I'm going to say, "Crew, weapons down," It is not the time for that.
You see like
in my head.
you see Tico with like his sword out, and you're like immediately just sheaths it, tosses it around, and goes, "You fucking idiots! Why'd you fucking bring weapons to this mine? We're going to a fucking trial, not going to war. God, you fucking idiots!" And they just like slap the other guys, and like I see like Loki are like tossing their own weapons off to the side. You fucking idiots!
Oh my god.
Honestly, it's my
What did we
favorite
do to deserve these
By
boys?
We killed their leaders and then we told them join.
They're so good-hearted. They mean well.
They really try. They really try. Alright, so the crew goes back and puts the weapons away and comes back just like plain clothed. And you guys all descend and make your way towards the Hall of the Wise.
And
So,
can I instruct the crew to kind of follow along in rows of like 4, so it's like 10 rows of 4, and we're all just kind of marching in file towards the hole.
Give me a performance check to see how well you can get your
Information. Please be a 1.
Yeah, how
Please
well
be a
you can
1.
get your troops ranked up.
It's a 10.
Okay, you try your best. I mean, they're not all like walking in like a single file line or like all a big clump. They're kind of just filing in 2, 3, 4 at a time, just following you guys down. A couple of them are grumbling about the rain and the pay and just being bored on the ship. And you guys all make your way into town and stop and are filed into the Hall of the Wise. Now, it has been fitted for the trial, so there are long tables and benches that have been pulled out. And just to kind of give a refresher, it's a long chamber with long tabards that roll down from a high ceiling. There's a raised seating platform on the far end of the hall, and along the rooftop, you see that there are many different sigils, all representing the unified clans of the SCT that have all been brought together during this kingdom. You go in, and there are a number of townsfolk already that are sitting in there just to witness the trial. You guys fill up all of the left-hand side of the benches, and just, the voices are kind of echoing out in this long marbled hall with these big columns. Tarina's nowhere to be seen. Aki, as you're entering into the building, Mira is there as well. And she gestures to you to come sit by her. And she goes, "I don't have much time. I'm to stand witness also on the trial as well. So I cannot stay for long. But is there anything I need to know before going into this that I've been briefed by Torina about
You know that Appa did not intend to bring the poison anywhere.
You see that?
That is the hard part to prove, I know, but he's zone of truth.
It is not whether or not the fact that he intended to cause harm with these actions or not, but the tensions up north with the clans are growing ever stronger daily, threatening to crack apart this kingdom that her father had put forth. She's looking for a scapegoat. And it's not whether or not he meant to do it or not, but his actions are what are condemning him at the moment. We all know that none of you would have chosen to do this, that there must be some other story, and I wish that can shine through as purely as it can today, or else
What if I were to
Torina,
say...
you know her, she's quick to judgment.
Well, how would you feel about the Swath trying to incite civil war within the SCT?
Is there a plot for civil war that the Swath have that you've uncovered?
It is dangerous and could lead to war.
Yes. I agree. No, unfortunately, I'm not the one you must convince. But I hope that all of your testimonies today might help
I am
shape...
not testifying.
You're not testifying. You're a captain?
I am not the captain. I am merely the liaison.
I
For
see.
the Arcanon Collective, for the chapter on Theron, I've met with
Yes,
Theron.
I've gotten a couple reports from Theron.
How does Theron feel about this? And trying to incite civil war?
It is tricky because Farron is from Valtora, not from near CT, and this is a very political matter. Unfortunately, the Arcanon Collective likes to stay outside of political matters. We are the voice of reason in the madness. We run alongside the government, not to be a part of it.
That's what I've tried to do. Believe me.
I believe you. And sometimes it is situations, unfortunately, that can lead to other unfortunate situations. I will take what you have told me, and I will attempt to pass this on to Tarina as best I can. And I hope that I might be a fair part of this trial, and that if any wrongdoings were actually committed, that justice is given for those, but nothing else.
Chendrick was a spy.
Chendrick has been interrogated.
Very well.
I'm just gonna kind of like, I guess should I sit next to her? Or should I go sit with my party?
She gets up and begins and walks back towards the platform that has been erected at the very end. At this point, everyone's filed in, and you hear this as Admiral Rodor stands up, as people begin to file into the back, and he goes, "Thank you all for coming. We set to commence the halls of the wise for the judgments of those incited here today under the watchful eye of the truth seeker, Torina Ralhazir." And you see as she comes out, and she's wearing this very long, flowing, crystalline blue dress. And she has a tall mantelpiece across her head and back of her shoulders that show the different phases of the moon as it crests across her shoulders. She ascends the staircase and sits at the high seat. At first, there were a few smaller trials, and the jury is brought in too. You see that Mira is part of the jury as well. Tuma also is present. He stands between Admiral Rodor and the back of the hall where Tarina sits. A few other people are brought in for trial, and like a few cut purses, a few small petty thieves, and they kind of get cycled through relatively quickly. There is this like anticipation and tension in the air that something bigger is coming. I mean, Tarina came here for something. At this point, Oscar, you are brought out from back, and you are brought up to the actual the trial, the bench itself in the very front, and you look out and there's like a sea of people that you just have no idea who they are, and you see this giant, massive half orc, Admiral Rodor from before, standing at the actual desk itself. Behind him is a even bigger Tabaxi fighter with this massive plate and this huge sword across his back. And behind him, you see seated up on the very top is Tarina Ralhazir. And he looks down at you. He kind of leans all the way over to kind of get to see how tall you are. And you kind of have to hold yourself up and look over the edge of the table itself. Do you have a last name?
Yeah, I believe I'm 3 feet tall.
3 foot tall. Yeah, you're like you're chin high with the table.
Yeah.
Do you have a last name?
My last name?
Yeah, Oscar what?
Meyer Wiener.
Oscar Meyer Wiener.
Which will be me.
Today.
What, Meyer Wiener?
We're ready for trial.
It's a joke.
Meyer.
Oscar Meyer Wiener.
It's nice to meet you, Joanna. And I'll give a little bow, but my back doesn't bend very much.
Okay. And your beard kind of like scoops across the floor. He goes, "You stand accused of 3 accounts of grave robbery and the possession of stolen goods of other people's property, which the account is about 7.5 teeth. What say you in your defense?"
Well, the teeth weren't doing any dead people any use, and I thought I'd add my collection. You can see so if you want. I have my mother's teeth, but those are prized possessions of mine.
I think it's the same.
And like you see, and he goes, "Bring the evidence forward." And you see like brought out to the table, it's like a little
kind of basket containing like a bunch of like different sets of teeth in it. And he goes,
Beautiful.
He goes, I don't have time for this. You know that you can't just go around robbing people's graves, right?
Well, I know now.
Just give me a charisma check.
Charisma?
Yeah.
Oh, it's stuck in the corner. Reroll.
Reroll. 14.
14?
Yeah.
He goes, Are you traveling with anyone?
No, I'm not sure why I'm on this ship. I'm
You
just from
and
the
that,
mainland, so
You and that big fellow, the turtle, got along very well in the cell, did you not?
Yes.
Well, assuming that everything goes well for him today, I'm assigning you 300 hours of community service to be indebted with him. So you stay out of trouble.
Oh, I'd love that.
You also have to pay. You also have to pay a fine. The fine will consist of 15 gold pieces to repay the families of the teeth you stole, to rebury the dead in their graves, and to patch the holes you carved into their faces, and also to repair the gravestones and the one that you put all the mushrooms on. Yeah, we got to clean that off. 15 gold. If you can't pay it, hopefully your new friends can. Next.
And he slaps the gavel, and you are ushered out of the entrance, and you are brought over to sit down next to the group of adventurers that you see here. And one of the guards goes,
These are the lot. One of you owes a fine of 15 gold.
I look around like these friends are going to pay instantly.
I shall offer up to 3 gold pieces.
And I will give
the rest.
12.
Okay. And the guard collects it, and he goes,
All right, 300 hours community service to this lot.
You keep in line, keep them in line. And he walks back, and he pays the Admiral Rodor.
Next up, the Count of...
What's your last name, Dimitri? I always forget.
Scootin'.
The Count of Dimitri Scootin. Please bring him forward.
And you are brought shackled and chained, like really big chains, just just dragging him all the way in. And you stand there, and he turns to you and says,
Dimitri Scootin, you are hereby charged guilty by association. Your captain has condemned you, along with his own actions and his crimes.
Do I hear any of this?
You were in the back.
But do I hear any of him saying any of this?
Yes.
Motherfucker. He's lying right through his face.
He's not. In the zone of
Oh,
truth,
that's true,
you
I
literally
did.
threw Dimitri under the bus.
Okay.
You're like, oh, I did that, and Dimitri did that. So, you threw him under the bus.
Bus wheels rolling.
What say you in this conspiracy that is brought to light here in this council? No other
Well,
proof
you
has been
see-
brought forward on your involvement other than the testimony of Apollonius.
You see, comrade, I am sailor. And as sailor, you do as captain tell you. So to do not as captain tell you is also break law.
Give me a perception check.
Dude, he's right though. He's right.
Yep. Okay. That is a 22.
Wow.
Oof. Admiral Durr looks down at you and kind of nods. Him himself being a sailor understands the moral and the code, and you are commanded by your captain and you have to act as such. And he goes,
Now, while unfortunately the actions that you are prescribed do not constitute honor, there is honor in your actions of following your captain's law to the letter. Acting on his behalf as he was your own. There is honor in this. He turns to the jury and he goes, "What say you, jury? Should the man be condemned for the actions given to him by his captain? Or is by blind following the captain to the letter of the law the true way that us here in the southern canto, our territory, make our livelihood amongst the sea and the waves?" And they all kind of turn and begin speaking with each other.
Kill him! Make him into soup!
Roll for jury.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
No soup tastes good enough.
After
to
a few moments, Mira stands up and goes over towards Admiral Dur and approaches the stand and says, "Admiral Dur, Your Honor, Your Grace," as she turns to Mira, to Serena, "we are in agreement, 83% in favor that he is not to be condemned by the actions of his captain, but that by following the letter of the law in the honor of the seas, he is hereby fined 500 gold pieces and sentenced to 150 lashes of the whip.
Oh my god.
To be sentenced tomorrow at dawn."
Oof, yeah.
That's a death sentence, ain't that?
Jesus
He's a
Christ.
turtle. He's a turtle. He's a barbarian. He just you just
You
rage
gonna whip
through
my
the
shell?
blood.
Did you say
You won't even
lashes
feel it.
on the
No,
back?
it's like shell.
I mean, he's gonna get whipped, but
You're
most
gonna
of
have
them is
some
shell,
cool
so I mean,
Just have some nice tattoos on your shell, man. Whatever.
It's battle.
it's all
It's
good.
man. Free battle scars. Well, 500 gold battle scars.
after your sentencing of 500 of 150 500 lashes. After your sentencing of 150 lashes, you will remain imprisoned until the fine has been paid. That is all. And Dimitri, you are brought back off of itself, and you are returned to the back where Appa was sitting, and placed in another holding cell next to him.
Would that leave me in the jail too?
No, you were free to go. Your fine was paid, and you are now sitting amongst the people we see sitting next to you, like
And
this ragtag group of people.
As Dimitri comes back, Appo's like cross-legged on the ground, sort of head down, like just hands like folded kind of thing, just waiting for the
And
door to open.
you're in the back, and at this
Yeah.
point, Chendrick is brought out into the stands itself.
Oh boy.
But however, Appo, as you're sitting in the back in the holding cell, there's like two guards that are there. You see, walking in through the back door, cowboy hat, long cloak.
I yell at the say, "Intruder, get him now!"
The guards don't move. They look up at him and just kind of go back to their own business.
You mother.
They walk over to you, Appo, and you are shackled by wrist and by foot inside of the cell, in the holding cell. And you see Jegs walks over to you.
What? Jigs is multi-dimensional.
Do I see this too, since I'm next to him?
Dimitri, you are in the holding cell next to him. You see Jegs as well.
Oh, fuck! Character sheet, quick! What do I have?
I want to
Damn!
yell. I want to
Jag.
yell.
What's
You
that?
have nothing, you have
What's that, Zach?
moves.
I want to yell. I recognize
spells.
that guy.
Yeah. You guys are both shouting like, "Ah, this guy!" And the guards who were in the room are not making.
How far is from my what's it called?
So it's an L-shaped room,
Right.
and on one door leads to a hallway that eventually leads to the hall of.
But like, what's the distance between like where the hallway is to where the entrance to like the chamber to where the trials are going?
Oh, probably. So from your space to the door where the guards are is probably about 30 feet. From where the guards are to the hall of the wise, like the actual trial chamber, is probably about 150 feet away.
Hold on.
Person has to run home.
Okay.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, thank you for playing.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a bit of a more boring episode for you, but this trial's been building up for about a month. But we
Now you're filled in. Now you know what to
We will
expect.
be returning to the stupid shenanigans of this party very soon.
Hey.
You can watch the stream and see how it ends.
Hey.
Yeah,
You mean,
true.
Yes.
Be sure to stream while you drive.
Well, you can listen to it. It's a podcast.
Am I like
So
chained
it's a
to an
podcast.
area, or can I freely move myself?
You are chained inside your cell.
Right, so I can't like walk around in my cell basically.
You are essentially on a stool.
Yeah.
Your legs are shackled to the ground, and your wrists are shackled to the ground by your legs, and then you're inside of a cell. And Dimitri, you're essentially the same. They're not letting you guys just like roam around inside these cells.
Right.
You guys are on trial, under watch. Jegs walks up to you, Oppo, and tips his hat down. He goes, "Howdy there, partner. Looks like you find yourself in a bit of a pickle."
So it seems.
Ember ain't too happy, to say the least, about what y'all did. Double-crossing him like that, hurting Chendrick. It's no good. That's bad blood.
To be fair, Chendrick hit me first, so it was self-defense.
You know, and he like pulls out and he begins to roll a cigarette, and he lights it and he goes, "You know, that's your biggest downfall, is you actually think that Ember gives a fuck about anything you have to say. Ember wants his job done, and that's the only thing that's gonna happen. Now, we were gonna come kill you, and it would be my absolute pleasure to put one right between your eyes right now. Or I could have done it last night while you were looking up at the moon. But, seems like your fate has been sealed for you. However, I can't have you go running willy-nilly about the guild's affairs to the whole crowd of people outside.
You guys have been here long enough. What I do is nothing. You really think I can take you down?
Oh, I don't think you can, but I know Tarina, and she's got a vengeance a mile wide. If you start running your own mouth about the Swath's operations, especially the... See you guys.
Have a good
Thank you
night.
for playing.
I'll be here.
Well,
I said you guys.
Don't come back, Nick.
there's a lot going on, man. All right. He says,
My only goal right now is to kill my former pirates.
well, that's all fine and dandy, but you see, you fucked over the Swath, and you butchered up Chendrick pretty good. I've been sent to kill you. I'm not gonna lie, and I'd be happy to, but I'm kind of interested to see how this arrangement plays itself out. However, I'll have you know, and I'll give you just one warning. You say anything about the Swath's movement during this trial, and one's going between your eyes. And you see him for the first time. He pulls out, off his shoulder and unwraps, and this long firearm that has this large scope on it, and he pulls out a bullet, and you can see that he's carved your name on the side of it, and he places it in the chamber, and he goes, "This one's for you. Whether or not it hits you today, or a week from now, that's up to you. I'll be watching. Say your words carefully." And he walks out of
Has he ever said his name to us?
I don't think you know his name.
Okay, then I'll say, what's your name?
Well, I can say my name to a dead man. Call me Jigs.
Jigs it is.
It's nice knowing you, kid. You weren't too good at this job. I could tell you weren't cut out from it from the start, but I'll be seeing you around. And you too, big guy. You stay green. And remember, same thing goes for you. You start spouting out of your mouth about what happened here at the Swath, or what our operations are. He pulls another bullet. I could carve another name right here. He puts it back in, and he walks back out, not the way towards the hall, but back the way he came from. And the door shuts. All of you outside here are witnessing the trial of Chendrick. You look over, Chendrick is there, bandaged both of his arms, and he actually has shackles that are bound around his arms because they can't actually bind his wrists because he doesn't have hands anymore. So he's bound, wrapped with chain.
That's no fun.
And he has like jailer shackles on his legs, so he can't really run or walk very well. He walks the stand.
Oh my god, good. Okay.
And Chendrick looks up at Admiral Roder and just kind of grimaces at him. And you see Wendell is there next to you guys as well. And Wendell is just very nervously tapping his foot, and he's like writing notes down in his paper, with notes back to the guild of what's happening here. Admiral Roder turns to him and goes, "We stand here on trial for Chendrick. You are accused of conspiracy against the crown, possession of stolen goods, intent to distribute narcotics, in association with the criminal organization known as the Swath. What say you?" And Chendrick just dead eyes him, doesn't say anything. "Do you have nothing to say in your defense?" And he looks up at Admiral Durr and goes, "Laddie, do not understand. I'm dead either way. I failed my mission to the Swath, and I'm captured by the crown. Nothing I can do or say gets me out of being royally fucked." The jury begin talking amongst themselves. Wendell is scribbling down everything that he is saying. "You are also infiltrating the Merchants Grotto Guild, and are in possession of guild knowledge. Is that true?" "Aye, 'tis true. I actually ran with them before I was with the Swath." You see Admiral Roder writing down some notes as well. He turns to the jury and he goes, "Your verdict." And they all turn in and
he's alive.
Mira stands up and says, "Sir, Admiral, Your Grace, the jury stand in agreement, 95% in favor of hanging by the neck till dead tomorrow morning."
Objection.
You stand up. Okay, Admiral stands up.
This is for Chendrick, not me.
"Profugo, what say you about the fate of Chendrick?"
If we keep him in prison, he may be of use for us in fighting the Swath. As we all know, they're trying to incite a civil war in this very nation in which we stand today. He's more useful to us alive than he is dead.
"We have uncovered a plot about infiltration of a town to stir up a certain gang war between known gang criminals in this town. But no such information or evidence has been shown about inciting a civil war. Do you have evidence to provide?"
Do I have evidence? I just heard of it, didn't I? This man is the right-hand man of the leader of the Swath. He knows more than anyone else would that we have access to. As I said before, he is of more use to us alive than he is dead.
There's a scraping sound in the back
Give
of
me
the
a
hall of
wisdom.
wisdom.
Give me a deception check.
Profugo. Damn it.
7.
We know that Chendrick is in the Swath,
We'll go over the Swath.
but his inner circles are not that high. We know that she is merely an agent.
That's where we're going.
This is not news for trial. I asked you, Profugo, if you have evidence to support your claims, please bring forward now or hold your tongue.
I guess I'll just sit while
Sit your ass down.
It is decided. All in witness in the halls of the wise and the eyes of the truth seeker that Chendrick, leader of his own organization, plots against the crown, treason, member of the Swath, infiltrator of the guild, to be sentenced to death by hanging by the neck till dead tomorrow morning, sunrise. Smacks the gavel. Chendrick is brought in the back room.
Damn.
And now, we shall call forth the trial of Apollonios, captain of the drip ship. And he stands up, and he goes and sits down.
Sorry.
Apo, guards are coming in. They unlock you and begin to pull your. They begin to file you into the room.
Are these the two guards that stood outside the I just death glare him.
2 guards. And they actually lock you to the ground as you are out there. So like you are standing there and you are bound. You cannot move from where you stand.
How far up can I lift my hands?
Here.
Did they do that to Chendrick?
No.
Oh no.
Wow.
They did not.
I wonder why.
Dire straits.
Nobody trusts me.
No. Something about hands. Having them.
Ah, the cups.
They could have bound him with his
You're
arms.
slippery, aren't you?
Put him in a straight jacket. Yep.
What good is a dwarf without his hands?
Loudmouth drinks a lot still.
Hey man, you can function without no hands. Just get a bunch of hooks.
Prosthesis.
Yeah, man.
A dwarf with no hands and no hooks is about as good as a fish in the sky.
It's a really good one. I like that.
A bird's dinner.
All right.
Yeah. Dead.
You are standing there in front of it, and
Yeah.
Admiral Rodor actually sits down, and Tarina stands up, and she walks up to the box.
I just look up at her and just go, Your Majesty, and I bow.
She kind of poises her head up, and makes no motion. Apollonios, as princess to the crown of the unified Southern Kantor territory, truth seeker of the realm, I have been brought here to bear witness and to carry out the sentencing of those of which you stand accused. Your charges: possession of a controlled substance, attempted murder, conspiracy with a known criminal organization, transportation of illegal substances across international borders, piracy, destruction and loss of Fort Reefback, the conspiracy and treason against the crown on the pretense to administer poison drugs to civilians in aid of a criminal organization to spread their tendrils into Southern Kantor territory. What say you to these crimes?
Do not rush to judgment.
I do not judge yet at all. I merely list of which you are arrested for.
From what you hear today, do not rush to judgment.
She waits. She waits for you to say
Say,
anything.
can I stand? Am I standing?
You're standing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I take a deep breath. I sort of take one last look at my crew, my friends, my adventures that I've sailed with for these last few months. I say, Princess Tarina, as these may be my last few words as a living being, I wish for them to be honest words. I am a man of severely confused conscience. I have lived the life of a pirate and a criminal for most of my days. Only after being inducted into the arms of the Moonweaver did I begin to see the good that could be done in the world. I realized because of her, I no longer needed to be a man of lawlessness and pure survival, but a man that could do good for both the betterment of himself and for the world. Because I cannot move my hands. The sword that was taken from me is known as the Axiom Blade. It was gifted to me by the Moonweaver herself the night I pledged myself to her service. This sword is a sign of faith that I will hold a pretense of keeping balance between light and dark. She knows that this will not change overnight, and the process to become her champion will be a long and arduous journey, and I will fall, and I will lose my way. But this sword is proof that she both trusts and has faith in me that I can achieve this goal. I understand that bringing this poison into the SCT was wrong, and yes, I should be punished for it. But my intentions were good, and under no circumstances was I going to distribute any of those drugs in any city in the SCT. If you are to pass judgment today, I would ask you to place no punishment at all on any of my crew. Leave it all on me. I was the one who initially sought out this adventure, so I should be the one who receives the full weight of your judgment. If by some miracle you are feeling merciful today. Allow my crew and I to finish what we started. Allow us to return to the sea and fight these pirates and destroy them. If we return successful, I will serve the remainder of time that you deem fit. Or if not, then I shall die at sea. I have faith in you that you can be merciful, even to a group such as ours. Ultimately, I will respect whatever you decide is right. And I will sort of kneel at that point.
She looks back at you and says, when we first met, I was congratulating you for saving 2 of my towns from destruction. I gave you gifts, weapons, paid to improve your ship, to rid my land of these troublesome pirates once and for all. As I recall, I expressed hesitation on your journey to the New World in search of your old fleet. That being away for that long could prove disastrous. I wanted to take care of the pirates, rather now than later. However, I let you leave. To make your own decisions on how to handle the situation you saw fit. As you would not swear to the crown, you were to prove yourself of the situation by your actions. It appears that I was wrong. Not only have the pirates destroyed Fort Reefback and the lives of 65 Marines while you were away, upon return, your fleet, and she does quotation marks in her hands, consists of a mere 3 ships and only 2 with cannons. And, to top that, while away and my coastlines being ravaged by the problem that followed you here, you were making deals with the swamp and agreed to plot to poison my civilians with laced drugs for what? Money? Had I not promised that in the beginning? I am starting to believe that you never broke your fealty with Sabal, keeping me busy guessing with your plots while he sieged my forts and my harbors. Do you have anything else to say, Captain? At this point, there's a boof, boof, boof on the door. Everyone stops. She goes, what is this?
This is not my doing.
Hearing this, Profugo is going to... I don't have any fucking weapons, son of a bitch.
You what?
I don't, never mind.
Oh, I have chills right now.
He is going to kind of look over to Tico, Soto, and Balo and kind of like nod and stand up just a little slightly and look towards the door. I might get their attention.
There's another boom, boom, and the door opens, and a guard falls in the door. He is bloodied, missing parts of his armor, and he...
Oh my god, this is a ball. Can I use me right now?
Your Majesty, right here, the Death Crawlers.
Oh no.
They've come for this one.
I sort of raise my hands and be like,
the door, boof, opens again.
I turn to Admiral around and say, take these off now, and we can win this, I swear.
He holds his hands, and you see him hands out his sword. In, walking, just a saunter, just scuff. 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 You hear this. Well, hell. I recognize that face anywhere. In walks, who only you can guess is Captain Samal. He carries on his back a massive greatsword made out of the nose of a sawtoothed shark. It's like Dimitri's needle sword, but just long teeth appendages come all the way down. Your Majesty, this has been fun, but I've got a bone to pick with this one here. And if it's anything like it's been before, you can't do shit to stop me. And like a bunch of guards are going for their weapons and like are drawing up and circling around him. And he goes, hold up, he goes, stop, please, you're
embarrassing yourself. Alpo, tell this nice lady what the ship chummers do to buildings that I don't like.
It erases them.
She looks down and she goes, are these the same guns that destroyed my fort?
I just sort of look up at her with like, yes. I don't say it, but I just sort of like look at her.
She
with,
sits
like,
slowly back in her chair. She goes, well, you have not fired at me already. What do you have to say? And Sabal walks up a little closer, past you guys, like just walking. And he's a Triton as well, like Oppo, but a lot bigger. He's probably 7.5 feet tall, just full
my
bursting,
God.
and he is wearing armor that is made out of different plates of coral. And he wears a shark skin tunic underneath it. And he walks up and he goes, Your Majesty, I honestly really had hoped that you would have made a bit more of a challenge for me, but I'm only here for one thing. Something that this one here has taken from me.
Alpo just sort of just. Oh, Sabal, Sabal. You know, you really were more bronze than brains. I don't have it anymore.
What? Where is it?
I don't know. I woke up one morning and it was gone.
Roll a deception check.
Ooh, thank you. That's a nice real 19. That's a 23. Yes, 23.
He looks you up and down. Your Majesty, just ignores you. Your Majesty, I'm sure you're getting real tired of my crew sieging and ravaging your coastlines. I'll make a deal with you. You give me this one, and he will lead me to the way. And I will leave your waters alone. I'll travel northward. New territory, new, more interesting things to raid. Your navy is pitiful and weak and can barely tread water on the seas. No match for my fucking crew. You've seen yourself. Your boats hide, scared in the harbor. You give me this man and the way, and I'll go. I'll take what is mine and leave.
Princess Tarina, take it from a man who sailed by this thing.
Watching between him and him.
It's like, take it from a man who sailed by the side of this thing. Whatever he spits out of his mouth is nothing but vile lies.
Is he
Let
by
me-
himself?
He's the only one that's walking in this room. Did you glance out the door behind him?
Sure.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Shall I tell you a story of Southern Taldori?
12.
12. You glance out, and there are no soldiers outside. There are a number of people standing outside the doors. Someone else give me a perception check if they're looking at the wall.
I
Now look at
also look at
Yeah.
the ball. Where'd my die go?
Yep, sorry. I
Stole
missed
my
it.
die.
17.
Your own die.
17?
Waste all my 20s, bro.
What did you say?
Perception?
Perception check.
Perception 100. 18.
An 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at his
Roll,
hand,
everyone, yeah.
looking at his hands, he has a number of rings on. One of them he has pressed, and there's a slight glow coming from one of his rings. On the other side, you see in his hand, he's holding a scroll. In his hand, in the clutch.
Can I cast detect magic on that?
Sure.
As he's doing that, I'll to Prince Turner say, let me tell you a story about the southern Taldori coastline. When we first came there and Sabal began ravaging villages, he made the same deal with those villages and those cities. Half of them don't exist anymore.
Give me a perception check. What'd you roll?
In other words,
26.
Am I within 60 feet of him?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, 26.
Okay, he's 30 feet away from me at least.
He's further. He's further.
Well, when
She
he
gonna
comes
give
within
me
30 feet
away.
range, I'll cast that.
Okay, he's walked by you.
Oh,
He walked by you.
Okay.
It's big. It's a big hall.
Okay.
You guys are all sitting down there, and he's walked essentially up to stand next to where Otto is.
Can I use
So you're.
distance stealth to cap it at 60?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the crowd,
Just kind of like
they see you
down by my
You
hand.
start casting magic. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
It goes off. A number of people do this. But you have to know what that will notice. And so some people get up and you see that Mira kind of stands up and
Is it like magic from that ring?
you detect lots of magic coming from him.
From him.
It's fine.
Well, like
Tritons can cast
like,
magic
you
themselves.
can't. You can't.
But
You can't. I mean, like you see he has a ring. You see he has a scroll, right?
Yeah.
Detecting magic, you can just sense like a radar where the magic is.
And I also learned what school of magic it is. That's the important
evocation.
part.
It's got fireballs. That's cool.
He's just waiting to blow us all.
I see a faint aura around any peaceful creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic if any. I can penetrate barriers, and all that good shit.
You sense evocation and conjuration.
Oh god.
Is Mira near me?
She is probably 120 feet across the way in the jury stand.
Can I sending to
So
Mira?
like destruction is
Okay, that's not
and conjuration is like.
Do I need to cast
He's gonna try to
telepathy with her?
bullshit.
What I usually do?
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, Mira, that man has evocation and conjuration magics.
Magic on him. I know. I sense it too.
Say, should we look the darts?
I am
I
attempting.
think everyone knows it.
There's something that- yeah.
Quite clear that he's here.
Yes, but you know how destructive it can be, and who knows what it is.
Hold for now. Wait. See what he has to say.
Very well.
She like glances up at him like very carefully, just watching. Tarina looks down at you, and she says, I don't know if I believe anything you have to say, but what choice do I have? He has already promised destruction of my lands. This is an opportunity for peace. Why should I not take this?
Objection.
There will be no peace.
For Fuga, you object.
I'm gonna send it and say,
Well, objection!
Objection!
So looks around and goes, who the fuck is this guy?
Tickles.
You got nice wings. Maybe I'll make a cape out of it.
no one's talking to you, fish boy.
Oh!
I can prove who's telling the truth. And I'm gonna.
I like his spunk. More spunk than you ever had, Abo.
I'm gonna cast Zone
Roasted.
of. Are they together?
There's any together.
I'm gonna cast Zone of Truth on the ground in between the two of them.
Okay, that means wisdom saving throws for them, right?
Oh.
That is. Yeah. Nope. Charisma save.
Charisma save.
Charisma
Okay. What
save?
is the DC?
The DC
Oh,
it's
just
sorry.
asking a
It's
pirate captain to
my
fail
spell's
charisma.
DC, right?
I would cast a higher level if I were you.
She's trying to pick his
Higher level,
lock,
higher
he
level.
says.
Naturally 18. Dimitri, you're picking a lock. Okay, give.
That's the highest level.
Oh, okay.
Dimitri, there's no. You don't have a lock pick, but you can try to
What's your DC?
strength check
14.
against your.
I fail.
Sure.
And
So we know
Julian
that you're
will
telling
add,
us.
Yep.
Oscar
'Cause
wants to
there's-
add guidance to
Just gonna make
Dimitri's
sure now that I can
pick lock.
Julian, you're not actually in the same room as Dimitri is. You're in the main hall.
Oh, was
in
I?
the
I
actual
was escorted out.
benches. Dimitri is still caged in the back because he's not been freed yet. So you're not in the same room.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Perfugo is standing right next to you, and he's casting spells. So you
Okay.
cast guidance on Perfugo.
Well,
So.
So I failed.
yeah,
by the
I
way.
can.
So I would know this, and I'm gonna say, my spell did not work on Fishman number 1 over there. That barging hurt your guard, but Oppo, whatever he says, is the truth.
No, it's false. Yes.
So I want to rage and try and break out of this.
Oh, you hear that, Kaylin?
Whistle or something.
Kaylin.
Okay.
Dimitri's raging to break out of his cage.
Dimitri, you're just like you don't know what's happening, but like nothing has happened for long enough that you're getting a little suspicious, and you just
Boom!
You're trying to break the binds of your wrists and push the cage open. Go ahead and give me a strength check with advantage.
Sabal, meet Hulk. Hulk, meet Sabal.
That's not horrible.
Oh crap!
That is, so it's a check.
Yep.
It's a 14.
The shackles begin to bend.
Wait, you have advantage on the strength checks because you're raging.
He did roll.
Yeah, I
did.
rolled 2 dice.
They begin to
That's the
bend.
higher.
His second die was
Against your wrists, but can't get out. You can keep trying a little bit. Profugo, yeah, you cast it, but you kind of see like next to you this little gnome kind of casts guidance on you from Oscar.
Oh, so.
Do I roll that D4?
Wait,
I
so
roll a D4, right? No.
the end of the DC?
I don't think you roll it. He rolls it.
Yeah, he rolls.
Well, yeah. So you just get D4 to an ability check. So it doesn't affect your spell, but he casts it on.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I failed, so all my stuff is true at this point.
Okay. So she looks down at both of you, and Sabal's just kind of sitting there like.
I look at Tarina and say, I can guarantee you, if he not like leaves, he will take at least 3 cities with him. Probably Marta, because it's the crown jewel of this coastline.
Mira, is that how this spell works? She goes, yes, if he fails the roll, everything he says is true.
She looks back at you, and
if you were in my position, Arthur, what choice would you make?
Allow your strongest warriors, and I sort of eyeball back to my crew, to destroy him.
she looks between Sabal and Sabal. What do I have on your word that if I grant you this person, Apple, that you will leave my shores forever? And he goes,
You don't, but you're fucked either way. Either I blow up your cities now, or I take what's mine and leave. And maybe still blow up your cities. Choice is yours.
I'm gonna let the fate decide what her decision is.
Oh crap!
I can't make the decision unbiased.
I know.
Is anyone else doing anything?
I'm gonna cast Hold Person on Sabal.
Whoa, shit!
Okay.
I'd really like to be on my chains right now.
How far
I
away is
can't
the
do a
person
thing.
60 feet.
Okay, it's right at the edge. Go ahead. What's the DC for hold person?
It's a wisdom. It's 14.
Wisdom save. 14. He fails.
Oh yes! Let's fucking go!
Cease!
You just gonna.
Guards, capture that man.
I look at Trina and say, I look at him and says, now's your chance to end this.
Take him while you can.
This is your moment.
He's destroyed your coastline and threatens to do more. This is your opportunity to strike back. Take action.
You can be the hero of the SCT by ending this pirate plague.
You need to roll.
Can I persuade?
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
I'm hoping to persuade.
Straight roll.
Straight roll?
Straight roll.
Why do I roll a 1 at this point? Fuck these dice. I'm sorry, kids.
She looks. She looks at you, Profugo, and she goes, "This man has the power at his fingertips to destroy our entire city."
And you will not, and you're going to let him go? My crew and I watched as we sailed back into Marta, as one of your mountainsides was obliterated at his will. And this is the man you want to let go from your city so that he can do it again and again and again? This is your time to strike, Torina. It's now or never. If you want a country to rule, you will take this opportunity now.
Puppy dog guys from Ambo. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna send it to Mira also. I'm gonna be like, Mira, how's your opportunity?
That is a 23.
Oh, let's fucking go.
Nice.
Good roll.
Mira turns and goes, "He is right. The pirate problem will never go away, regardless of what he says. If not him, then others will join up and take his place."
Don't forget about the rifts. He wants to do something with the rifts. That is what he wants from Apple.
It seems he is interested in some sort of artifact that Appa had once in possession, which is now currently in possession with Farron.
Oh! I look at Mira and just go like, what?
Appa, like I've said before, the Arcanum Collective runs outside of political schemes.
There are moments, Mira. Moments.
We run.
Forgive him, Mira.
We run outside of politics. We run only for research and for the balance.
Trump card out there, just like, there it is.
As they're still discussing, I don't want to waste any time, so Profugo is going to start getting some rope together and say, bind him! I'm just gonna...
Because you're still holding them, aren't you?
Yeah, you still help.
person.
But I'm gonna start pulling out rope.
Take out! Apollo!
How long does whole person last for?
Roll person lasts for 1 minute.
Does he get to save against it?
Every turn. You can try again.
Bitch.
These fuckers are wasting time.
She looks down and she goes, she looks between you, Mira. Bind them, all of them. And guards get up and they begin to shackle, Sabal. One of them.
I'm already like there, just like.
You. Guards come over to you, and they bring you forward.
I'll
and
go.
bind you as well. Sabal's gonna roll for. What's your save?
14.
You're all so dead. So dead.
Blink. What's he pop?
A ring.
I'd like to, at this point...
At that point?
I want to cast a counter spell.
Yes! Please!
Yeah.
There we go! I was waiting for that! I was waiting for that! I was waiting for that! I have no armor, I have no weapons, I'm screwed, I'm just gonna punch him in the face.
Do I roll for that?
I want to break free.
Roll for it.
Oh, Dimitri's trying to break free again.
Dimitri, give me a strength check with advantage.
Oh my god, this is fucking nice, dude.
Same numbers again.
Really?
Literally same numbers.
14. You're just there, you're just bang, bang, bang against the
I
cage.
need to
You
use
can't get out.
Wait, does he have to roll for anything?
Yeah, he does.
Wait, how high can you cast it?
He didn't say he's casting at a certain level, he just says he casts counter spell, which is a third level spell.
Cast at such high levels.
I can't cast it at a higher level.
Oh, okay.
At this point, I'd like to cast Command against
Sabal.
Sabal, and I do not.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
What
Are
do
you
you
within
Does that
30
affect
feet?
me? I should be. You should be right next to me.
Yeah, but all Bless does is...
That's a D4 to whatever your check is, to a check or to an attack.
That's
blesses.
That's
No,
blessed.
guidance.
Roll for counter spell, please.
I'm trying to figure out what my the spell specific is. Hold on.
Yeah, whenever you make an attack roll or a saving throw...
For a
before
counter spell, you have,
ends,
You have to like
D4,
match the spell DC or
So
something.
it's not gonna...
Yes.
help.
At higher level, let's see. The DC is equals to 10 plus the spell's level. So you have to make an arcana. No, let's see. Make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. So roll a d20 plus your spellcasting modifier. Your DC equals to 10 plus the spell's level.
Bless wouldn't help you. This is for attack rolls.
That's a nat fucking 20.
Oh!
That's the
Clutch
legendary
moment!
There we go.
Nat 20 right there.
No fucking way!
That's why I use this dice. That's it right there, baby.
Holy shit.
I'm not gonna even add my spell attack.
Oh my god.
It's Sabal's like, I got this. No.
No, that did not work.
You just see Aki go,
Oh my god.
oh,
Fuck!
and like,
He's still shackled, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like this. He's like,
Say, now what? What are you
I
trying to do
look at
there?
Small and just go, welcome to my world, punk.
Aki just kind of like strings up the magical kind of like beaming energy between her fingers.
I'm gonna
use Command.
Oh.
I would like to
You
cast
get-
Command on him.
okay.
Wisdom saving throw.
Wait, doesn't he have to roll this? He has to roll
What
this.
is your command?
Oh,
Wisdom
my
saving?
command is for him to grovel,
Okay.
fall to his knees. And drop
What
his
is
chin.
the DC?
Is it your spell?
I'm gonna roll this. It's on the table.
Please.
What is the fucking
I knew this night was gonna be stressful, but damn.
While do I see him trying to break out?
No, he wasn't trying to break out. He was going for the scroll.
So you're
Oh,
DC.
do I see that?
So you have to go back to your
he goes,
level, unless you're casting at a higher level.
Like that, right as he says, grovel. So
What's my fucking spell?
It's in your. It's gonna be.
Oh, it's a 13. He has to say a wisdom saving throw of has to be 13.
Wisdom.
Yeah, this ain't.
Does he have any modifiers?
+2.
+2.
Wow.
Oh yes!
Oh! Grovel!
Grovel, bitch!
Yeah, grovel,
So
bitch, grovel.
He goes. He pulls his hands up and he goes. As you go, boom, and the cannonball blasts across his hand, and the ring just kind of. And then grovel, and he just drops to the ground. and Super Snoot grabs up the paper, and the guards come and grab him and chuck him up again. And that's where we end. That's it.
Oh,
Dude.
No.
All right.
Oh, we are wrecking him.
What the?
Oh,
dude.
That was like the best nat 20
The
we've
secret
ever
died,
right?
That died,
You guys
man.
were almost so
Thank
far.
you.
Dude,
He was gonna blow up the city, wasn't he?
He was gonna blow up the building.
We were all dead.
He was gonna blow up the building he was in.
And then teleport out.
He was gonna take it all out.
We were all
Wait,
so dead.
what was the scroll?
To teleport. He was gonna leave after blowing us up.
Ring of sending.
I fucking knew it.
Teleport scroll.
I was
Ring of
about to
Sandy. Where's he
cast
sending?
Blink so I could go to another plane.
He's like, blow it up.
I knew it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude.
Yes.
Holy
Dude, when
shit.
when Tarina was like, am I giving? I was like, fuck,
No,
paralyzed.
don't,
I was
like,
no.
Well,
this is good. This is good.
Apple's not gonna die just yet. Yay!
Yeah, you're fucking lucky, dude.
No.
Hold on,
You
wait.
think you can kill all of us?
Oh my god.
I really got.
Did you have a counterspell?
Holy shit.
Did you forget I had counterspell?
Hold on.
Oh,
You
good
didn't
Jack.
think you had counter. You didn't think you had counterspell.
I gotta ask
That
though.
would have been really meta of me to put out the situation where you couldn't counterspell.
How convincing was the speech to Tarina? What was the DC you would have put it at?
The DC would have been a 20.
What was it
Wow.
originally?
25.
Okay.
You would. I think you got that.
You brought it down to a 20.
That's
Okay.
pretty good.
Pretty good for like 30 things you arrested.
30 things I'm arrested for, yeah.
Which you are still currently arrested.
I know,
I
but
mean,
now it's like, what if some dude
Now
like
she has an opportunity to kill the pirate and get rid of this problem, but she still has you, so half the party is in chains, and now it's the ball. But his fleet's outside.
This is
How are you guys gonna do it?
on his doorstep?
Here we go!
This is what I knew was gonna happen. I knew this shit was
All right,
gonna
well,
happen.
thank you guys all for joining in our first session. It's going to get really exciting from here. It's going to be an all-out battle, it kind of seems like. Yeah,
Apple needs to get dressed.
we will be back here
Holy
next Monday at 7 p.m.
Ish.
Ish. Assuming no more technical difficulties, we got a little bit of a late start, but yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in, and have a good night.
Bye.
And I knew you were gonna try to TPK us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you knew that shit was coming.
Alright, I'm leaving Oppo here. Take good care of him.
We will, don't worry.
He's in a jail cell or something, you know.
First action, once I get my
Figure
stuff
it
back,
out.
my ass is walking over to Sabal and stabbing him twice with my poison dagger.
Zach and
Just get him in the kidney.
and Julian,
Well,
thank you guys for
the
tuning
poison
in
dagger I
and playing.
have does 76 poison damage.
We will be back here next
76?
Monday. If you guys want to tune in,
76.
Julian, you're more than welcome
Yes.
to join in for
On
next
top
week's
of-
session
It's
as well.
76. It's
Um,
7.
Yeah, I'll try.
On
Today
top
was a
of the
special
fact
day.
that I get
managed to
sneak attack every time
probably
I'm
a snow day tomorrow,
front,
so-
like single combat.
Okay.
with my
Of
school.
a
Yeah,
melee
for
attack,
sure.
but-
And also,
So I get my
if we play
weapon
any
damage,
one shots or something over the
sneak
weekend, which
attack,
might be a little
plus
bit easier
76
for your
poison
schedule,
damage.
Why
we'll,
aren't you a rogue?
you're
I
in
am
the
a rogue.
Discord now, so
I'm a
you'll see any
swashbuckling
notifications
rogue.
about
With a
that.
paladin
So
on top
then,
of that.
yeah, you can jump
Really
in
shitty
for some
paladin.
one shots
You
for
had
that too.
I'll
smite
try and sneak dash. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, sounds great.
We have a guy
Everyone's
asking
good.
in the chat, how do you figure it out?
Have a good night.
Spellcasting,
Bye.
the spell DC. How do you calculate the spell DC?
How do you
Wisdom
calculate-
mod is 8.
It
plus-
depends. It depends on the spell, because sometimes it's
Depends on
charisma
the
mod.
class.
It depends on the spell and the class.
It's always 10 plus your proficiency plus.
Oh, that's gonna
A
be
mod.
Spell
plus-
DC is whatever your spell casting ability is plus your proficiency. Let me see. So it's
So it's 10 plus 3 for me because my proficiency is 3.
So mine is charisma.
Spellcasting ability.
Oh wait, let's do this.
So
I believe there's a base stat.
14 plus 1 more. Yeah, I think it's a wisdom calculation.
Let's see.
So your spell save DC will be 8.
Plus your intelligence mod.
8 plus your proficiency. Plus your intelligence modifier. This is for wizards though.
Yeah, so it's whatever your spellcasting ability.
It's class specific.
Yeah.
Spell attack modifier is your proficiency plus your intelligence, or whatever your bonus is to that specific class.
So I'm are we still on stream?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm a paladin.
Okay, so I'm a paladin. So charisma is my modifier. I mean, spellcasting ability. My modifier is +3, so it'd be 8 plus 6, which gives mine 14. So yeah.
There you go.
5.
Holy shit.
Great question.
Oh my god. Yeah. Very good.
Let me just I'm tense you right now, man.
Bro, dude, this is
Damn.
not how I thought the stream was gonna go, bro. That was
This is great.
Some intense stuff.
That's some good acting you got there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured Saval would just be kind of an asshole, so.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Dude,
He is
wow.
kind of an
I
asshole.
can't believe it, man.
Dude, part of me was thinking since
Can't
fucking
fucking believe it.
Jax was there, I was
That's
like,
fucking 20.
Oh, I was ready to either throw a fog cloud or a wall of water in between me and him so that he would somewhat drown and like hold his breath and like I would be in the water just like floating.
He's a Triton, dude.
No, this is when Jax came.
Oh,
Jax.
Jax.
I'm gonna throw a third level wall of water, just flood the
Thank
entire
God.
hallway. Just be like, I'm fine. You're holding your breath. Can you make an attack while holding your breath?
Oh, great.
He can, but it would be disadvantage kind of thing.
Everyone dies.
Oh, dude, I was waiting for you to
wait, what if
say-
die? Imagine making a character just to
What if
instantly
anything
die.
about the slot?
I was a little worried about that, you know? Clara's good light does not die like this.
Paler would not allow it.
No, I would survive by mystical powers.
Divine intervention.
Yep.
I mean,
A single beam of light comes and extracts me, and only me, Clarence